Sold out Notre Dame Stadium on a cool and cloudy afternoon in Indiana. And hungry for a victory, here come the Irish. And hot on their heels, the unbeaten and 16th ranked Stanford Cardinal, led by their coach Jim Harbaugh, who knows his way around Notre Dame Stadium. Hello everyone, welcome to Notre Dame Stadium. Tom Hammond and Mike Mayock ready for this crucial game ready for both teams. Notre Dame comes in 1-2, but only a couple of plays away from being 3-0. Stanford is 3-0 for the first time since 2001, and they've done it with a stout defense and with maybe the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah, Andrew Luck makes this team go, but I call their offense old school with a twist. They remind me of a 1975 power, downhill, smash mouth run attack, but they also have the 2010 spread offense, 3 wide receivers, and he's going to have a chance to make plays, Tom, on 2 levels. Play action. Notre Dame will have to commit an 8th guy to the box. He'll take some deep shots, and when they get in that 3 wide receiver set, watch them throw against Notre Dame's depleted secondary.
Well, on the subject of quarterbacks, Dane Christ, the Notre Dame signal caller, seems to be getting better every week and passed for 369 yards against Michigan State.
And if you watch the tape, you can't believe this kid has only had 3 starts, 55 attempts, 4 touchdowns. He's getting the ball out quickly and efficiently, but there's a different challenge today. Stanford plays more man-to-man than they're used to with a different blitz package. He's going to have to trust his offensive line, and he's going to have to trust his wideouts to make plays at the line of scrimmage.
Well, one of those wideouts is a new weapon for him. Theo Riddick really emerged with 10 catches against Michigan State.
Yeah, and they're a matchup nightmare. Rudolph at tight end, Floyd at wide receiver. All of a sudden, Theo Riddick, bubble screens, slants, verticals. He's a kid, a former running back that can make you miss, and I would hate to be a defensive coordinator trying to set up against Notre Dame.
But of course they'll be going against the #1 rated pass defense in college football in Stanford. And for more on today's matchup, down to the sideline and Alex Flanagan.
Thank you, Tom. Well, despite the emergence of Theo Riddick, Notre Dame suffered its second gut-wrenching loss last weekend. And suddenly, the way that Notre Dame is finishing games is eerily similar to last season. So what is Notre Dame's mindset coming into this game today? Well, Brian Kelly is hoping that it is one of toughness. All week, he has emphasized playing with an edge, being tough, being tenacious, and finding a will to win. And they will likely have to do that against a ranked Stanford team. Tom, an opportunity, a really big opportunity here today for Brian Kelly to prove that his program is headed in the right direction.
All right, Alex, and we asked Coach about the lingering effects mentally from the tough loss of Michigan State. He said all by the boards by Tuesday. First meeting between these two was in the Rose Bowl in 1925. Notre Dame has the big edge in the last 10 meetings. And Stanford has only 2 wins all time at Notre Dame Stadium. They've lost their last 7 here at the stadium. So Notre Dame wins the toss, and Coach Kelly elects to receive to get the game underway. Jim Harbaugh, as we said, he knows his way around Notre Dame Stadium. He won here a couple of times as a player at the University of Michigan and spent a lot of times with the Indianapolis Colts, of course. He had a 15-year NFL career with 5 different teams, and from a family of coaches. His dad, a longtime coach, and his brother, coach of the Baltimore Ravens. And set to get things underway is Nate Whitaker, who was a former walk-on at Notre Dame. And he said he wants to come in here and show the Irish what they're missing. And deep will be Jonas Gray for the Irish. And Sierra Wood will take this one about 2 yards deep and come out with it. Coach Kelly saying that this is Wood's last chance to have a decent game returning kicks. And he stopped here short of the 20-yard line as he brought it out from 2 yards deep. Our Adidas starting lineups now. First for the Notre Dame offensive line, Martin and Dever, first-year starters, continue to draw praise from Coach Kelly. And the backs and receivers, Theo Riddick, former running back, with those 10 receptions a week ago, and Michael Floyd continues to be a big threat for the Irish. Resetting the clock, apparently. And 8 seconds have ticked off. Now they've got it straightened out, and the Irish up at the line, ready to go from their own 15-yard line. And a handoff to Armando Allen. And Stanford ready for him. He got a yard, maybe two, before Thomas Kaiser puts the hit on him. Here's Dane Christ coming off his best game as the Irish signal caller for the season now. He's passed for 851 yards, hitting 60% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
They've inverted their tight ends and their wideouts.
His first pass is on target. Caught by Riddick. And Riddick once again makes it known early that he will have to be covered in this game. He catches it for a first down, a gain of 14 yards.
And Riddick and Floyd are in the slots. The tight ends are out wide. So we've got a mismatch here if you're a Notre Dame fan. Get the clearing route by the tight end, and then comes Riddick underneath. Stanford's going to have to decide how they want to deal with that alignment.
Christ under center, hands off to Allen, hit once, tries to spin his way free, and stopped after a gain of a yard. Here's our Adidas starting lineups for the Stanford defense. 306-pound Fua has a couple of sacks, was honorable mention All Pac-10 last season. Chase Thomas leads Stanford with 3.5 sacks, and Owen Marisic is a throwback to old-time football, plays both ways, starting at fullback and linebacker. Christ again to Riddick, and again it's good right at the first down marker.
You know what I like on tape, Tom, is that they're starting to move the pocket more and more. I think Dane likes it to his right better than he does to his left, but you'll see him come to his right. Good protection when you change your launch point. And then, of course, the catch by Riddick, who already has 2 receptions. Richard
Sherman prevented the first down pickup, so second and short as Armando Allen charges ahead for the first down. This is one of those classic matchups. The Irish 8th in the Football Bowl Series subdivision, 318. And Stanford's defense is best in the FBS.
4-man defensive line for Stanford coming with a blitz.
Play action fake. Christ under pressure. Decked as he let it go. And now Floyd fighting for it. And it goes incomplete. Christ took a shot and then sent it downfield where Sherman and Floyd battled for it, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, they bring a linebacker Scove, but here's Chase Thomas, their outside linebacker, coming off the edge, unimpeded to the quarterback, makes a good clean hit, and then of course Dane threw it up for his big 6'3" wide receiver, but this time, Tom, he was against the 6'3" corner in Richard Sherman.
Like Stanford might have been offside as the pass is deflected incomplete, intended for Tyler Eifert, the tight end. And Chris takes another shot. So the first penalty of the game is upcoming. It's a Pac-10 refereeing crew.
On the defense, number 94. The 5-yard penalty, second down.
I heard Jack Folliard, the referee for this Pac-10 officiating crew.
And the guy that came off sides also hit the quarterback, and they're going to have to protect Dane Christ. We mentioned at the top of the show, Tom, a different blitz package than they're used to seeing. Stanford's a 3-man front team, but they'll kick it to 4. They'll take their 2 outside linebackers who they think are their best rushers, Thomas and Kaiser, kick them to defensive end, and then have a stout 4-man front that can get to the quarterback.
Kaiser drew the offside penalty, but did get the hit in on Dane Christ, so already he's taken a couple of shots. First drive of the game.
Tight ends wide again. We're seeing some adjustments by Stanford.
Christ dropped. That was Riddick. Had it, dropped it. Would have been a first down.
Yeah, that ball was put right on him, and again, you've got the tight ends out wide clearing, and then you're coming underneath. Riddick working on Delano Howe. Wide open, drops the football. Thomas is a tough guy coming off the edge, working on Zach Martin. And Thomas is the guy, Tom, you got to stop. You can't let him get to your people with momentum like that.
Blitz coming on 3rd and 5. Christ to Floyd. Makes a nice move to get free. Stiff arm. He's to the 40-yard line before he's wrestled to the turf by Delano Howell. That's a 12-yard gain and a Notre Dame first down.
This is a guy that has to be a difference maker for Notre Dame. Michael Floyd is a talented kid. He's dropped 2 balls. He's fumbled 2 in the red zone in the first 3 weeks. But if he would just concentrate on doing what he needs to do. Look what he did, Tom, against Stanford the last 2 years. High productivity.
3rd down conversion keeps the drive going. Allen, first down carry, ran into one of his blockers, but still manages to churn out a decent gain, despite the fact he had about 4 Cardinal players wrapped around him. Delano Howell was the first to hit him.
Yeah, you called it right. Chris Stewart was his guy, Tom. Left guard's going to wrap around, and you want to get in behind that guy. He's 351 pounds with the biggest lower body I've ever seen. Allen gets in behind him. Now look at him. Continues to work because Marisek got stuck up on Chris Stewart.
That's Counselor Stewart, by the way, who is in law school.
That's right.
From the shotgun.
You got it.
Looked like he was definitely offside, but there's no flag.
See, now that's the edge you're talking about with Stanford. Everybody in the ballpark knows Scove was offside. Scove decided, look at the head coach of Notre Dame, not happy. Not only does he want an offside, he wants an unsportsmanlike. Watch him. This is clearly unimpeded to the quarterback. He takes the shot, knocks him down, and then everybody congratulates him. And okay, that's Stanford, and that's their edge. And Tom, that's what I mean by under Jim Harbaugh, they're a completely different team right now.
So that sets up a 3rd down and 13. 7-yard loss on that play.
Yeah, you gotta...
Now flag for delay of game.
Timeout. Notre Dame.
Apparently they called the flag did come down, but they called the timeout prior to the flag flying. So Notre Dame has to spend a timeout to prevent the penalty. Big 3rd down coming up. Opening drive of the game. Notre Dame facing a 3rd down and 13. It's the 11th play of the drive, and it transpires from the 43-yard line of Stanford. First in the shotgun, 3rd and 13. Stanford loading up to rush. Christ scrambling and threw it right to a Stanford player. Lucky it wasn't picked off. That was Johnson Batamosi that could have had the pickoff as Christ rolled to his right and threw a bad pass.
He did, because I think if he put some air under it, Tom, he had a chance to make a play here. TJ Jones is clear. This safety is on a bad angle. If he put some air under that, I think that's 6 points for the Irish.
So Turk is ready to punt. He's not had a punt returned all season. Ben Turk boots it towards Baldwin. Fair catch. Baldwin fumbled the ball, and it's recovered by Notre Dame. Zeke Mata recovered the fumble by Doug Baldwin.
And that's really good awareness by Mata, because he was very close to interfering with him, and he backed off and gave room for the catch to Baldwin. Watch Mata to the left of the screen. Very dangerously close. Now you got to back off and give the guy a chance to catch it. Ball, get that Sunday hop. And Mata jumps on top of it. And Tom, I was on the field before the game. It's a tough wind out there, swirling from left to right.
And a rare Stanford turnover. They're +5 on the season in the turnover department. Here's a slant route caught by Riddick. And Riddick with a nice run after the catch. Down to the 15-yard line, stopped by Austin Yancey.
That was run so closely to the line of scrimmage that the nose tackle, Fuha, almost made the tackle on the slant.
Goes for about 7 yards. And here's the leprechaun formation, so called by Coach Kelly, with Armando Allen ready to take a direct snap, and Riddick in the backfield with him. Allen fakes to Riddick, keeps it. Caught by the ankle and manages to rip free for a moment. It's a gain of 4 yards, and they'll mark it a first down for Allen from leprechaun formation.
The leprechaun, nice job, Tom. I like that, and I think it adds another dimension because he wants to run the zone read play, but he can't take a chance of his quarterback, who's up here getting the hit running the football.
So Christ is a wide out. Here's the leprechaun again. Allen to take the direct snap. Tosses to Riddick. Riddick shakes a tackler at the line of scrimmage, and then is wrestled down by Howell.
That was a textbook tackle by Howell, the safety, because it looked like there was something in there. A little too much shake and bake, I thought, by Riddick. Watch Howell from the right side of the screen. Here comes the shake and bake, and Howell has none of it, tackles him up high, and brings him to the ground.
So Theo Riddick, who has a twin sister, Thea, watching back in New Jersey. Again, the leprechaun. Allen, fake and keep. Oh, nice tackle by Stanford. Looked like he had room to maybe make the end zone, but Owen Marisic makes the tackle. Marisic, as we said, a throwback to old-time football, starting fullback and linebacker.
And they're going to pull. Watch the pulls come up, and like you said, Tom, it looks like he's wide open. He's going to make a play, but Marisic, it gets underneath the block by Zach Martin and makes a play.
And Stanford will take a timeout here with 8:52 remaining in this first quarter. Notre Dame take the opening kickoff. They march down the field and then have to punt. But Stanford fumbles the punt. Notre Dame recovers, and now they're facing a 3rd down and 5 from the Stanford 6-yard line. There's Owen Marisic with that mop of hair sticking out the back of his helmet. He started 39 of 40 games played at linebacker and at fullback. They don't always go with a fullback, and so he does get a few breaks, but he said he splits his time in practice between offense and defense. He splits his time in meetings. He'll go from one to the other, but used to be the norm in college football back in the day, and he may be the only one now that starts both ways for a major college team.
And Tom, I really believe he's got NFL potential at the fullback position. He like you said, he's a throwback. He understands the run game. He knocks down linebackers and defensive ends. Not quite as used to playing linebacker, but he's made a nice play there.
He told us when he was in high school, back in Jesuit High School in Portland, Oregon, when he was an all-state running back and linebacker, not in his wildest dreams he'd think that he would be playing both in college. Just looking to the sideline now. Play clock, still plenty of time.
He could see Scove was coming. That's the value of the hard count, trying to see what's going on with the defensive blitz package.
Chris with the blitz coming. Unloads quickly, and it's to Rudolph. Caught by the ankles and tackled at about the 5-yard line. Delano Howell. And one thing about the Stanford defense that's obvious here in the early going is they are sure tacklers.
Yeah, and Derek Mason is the new defensive back coach for Stanford. Came from the Minnesota Vikings, and I think they're more physical and they tackle better than they have in the past. And Delano Howell had 2 key tackles holding Notre Dame to a field goal drive after the punt return. Excuse me, the punt fumble.
22-yard attempt by Ruffer, who has not missed a kick, point after or field goal. From 22 to take the early lead. Ruffer sends it on its way, and it is good. The walk-on kicker, David Ruffer, nets the field goal off the turnover. 3-0 Irish. Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, where the Irish have taken a 3-0 lead on Stanford. And we're about to see the Cardinal offense for the first time as the kickoff team trots out for Notre Dame. That means that Andrew Luck will be operating the offense for the Cardinal, and as we've been saying, he is one of the best in all of college football. Deep is Chris Owusu to receive this kickoff.
His numbers are staggering on kickoff returns.
He was all Pac-10 kickoff returner in his first season last year. Missed the first 2 games this year with injury, did Owusu, so only a second game as Ruffer puts his toe to it. And a little squibbing knuckleball kick. Bounces at the 5 to Owusu. He uses blockers, surrounded, taken down at the 20-yard line. Stanford's offense takes the field for the first time, trailing 3-0. Andrew Luck, 10 touchdowns without an interception. He also has a 52-yard rushing touchdown this season. So first down. And the handoff is to Taylor. And Stephon Taylor bulldozes ahead. Got about 8 yards on first down.
Out.
Adidas starting lineups now for the Stanford Cardinals offense. With center Chase Beeler, a transfer from Oklahoma, starting his 25th straight game. Second-team All-American last year. And as we see the backs and receivers, there's Marisic on the field when Stanford uses a fullback, and then on the field again at linebacker.
And that's who they are. Powerful football. Marisic at fullback, tight end in the game, and they come after you downhill.
From the I formation, short drop, and the pass behind Owusu, the intended receiver.
I think Luck was thinking hitch. Owusu ran slant and paid for it.
So here is Andrew Luck facing a third down for the first time. His dad, Oliver Luck, was West Virginia University quarterback and played in the NFL for Houston, and was also in Europe in the World League of American Football, and is watching the game today. 3 tight end formation: Rulin, Fleener, and Ertz. Third and short, and the quick handoff to Marisic. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Calabrese not only came up with the tackle, but somebody's helmet.
Marisic is known for cracking helmets. He hits people so hard, and this time he lost his.
Carlo Calabrese got the run fit like you coach. Calabrese right here. Watch him come up. He knows it's third and short. The fullback lead, and he bent him over backwards. There's no way in the world that, in my opinion, that should be a first down where he made contact.
The officials disagree. They give him a first down, and Brian Kelly's giving him an earful.
I want to see that one again. Look at Stanford. They're up over the ball. Kelly's not even off the field yet. And look at the ref. Over the ball, that's the iron cross. He's standing over the ball. He won't allow it to be snapped. And now it's going to be reviewed.
They're going to review the spot of the football. Noel Turner and John Smith, Big East, are the replay officials.
And watching tape, they've run this fullback lead right here, fullback dive right here over the right side of the line several times in their 3 games. Look at Calabrese. He sees the down block by the right tackle. He fills the hole and bends him backwards. Now, it's hard to tell, Tom, from that angle, but to me, it looks like he gets nowhere near the first down marker, and that's Carlo Calabrese with what they call a run fit.
Now, remember, the yellow line is not official, but he came nowhere close to the yellow line, really.
That's all we got to work with, though, Tom, right? The yellow line.
I just can't see that he ever had forward progress, even enough for a first down.
Now watch the tackle come down and double team here, and Calabrese comes off. He does it so quickly, the tight end who's right here does not have time to get on him. He's supposed to combo block the outside linebacker and then get on the inside linebacker. Calabrese fit it so quickly, he was untouched.
Doesn't look like the football ever reached the first down plane, but
I'm not sure it got to the 30, let alone the first down plane.
After a further review, the ruling on the field stand. First down.
And I would say
Notre Dame is charged with a timeout, and they have used their only challenge of the game.
So Notre Dame out of challenges after that. I would say that there was not enough evidence to overturn it.
Yeah, I think because of the angle, and from my perspective, the hit is right there, and I think it's clearly short of the yellow marker, which, as you said, Tom, is not official. That's as far as he got forward progress, right there. So,
and since it is unofficial, the replay officials can't use it either, and so I suppose the ruling is that not enough evidence to overturn. So Brian Kelly out of challenges for the remainder of the game. 7:09 to go first quarter, and a first down for Stanford.
You got to be careful here because they'll take some shots. They got another tight end in the game, power I formation. This is a run formation. You got to watch play action.
So from the power I, play action fake. Luck under pressure, hits his man, complete just short of the 40-yard line. That's Kobe Fleener, the tight end.
And a really nice job by Harrison Smith, who's the 8th man in the box. Harrison Smith is right here, folks, okay? He's stepping up into the box because of that formation. Watch him track the play action, the crossing tight end. Fleener jumps the route. Now they still pick up 7, but a pretty good recognition by Harrison Smith.
2nd and 2. Luck hands to Taylor. Trying to turn the corner and does. Uses his blockers to get to the 49. It's actually Tyler Gaffney on the carry. And our Adidas starting lineups now for the Notre Dame defense, which welcomes back line coach Mike Elston, who had been hospitalized with a viral illness. Ian Williams continuing an outstanding season. Irish finally get the play they'd been looking for from Darius Fleming last week. And Robert Blanton starts for the injured Darren Walls as Slaughter returns to the starting lineup after injury. First down, Stanford, 49-yard line of the Cardinal. Gaffney blasted out of bounds just short of the Irish 45 by Anthony McDonald.
And they get Fleener, the tight end, Rowland, the tight end, Marisic. They try to outflank you with tight ends. That's called 22 personnel. 2 backs, 2 tight ends. You see the motion here. They're going to try and hook this and come out and get a power block here. And there it is. They get the seal and the kick, and Marisic gets all the way to the 3rd level with his block.
Gaffney limped off the field. Taylor in to replace him. Luck over the middle. Boy, perfect touch on that to Conrad Ruland, the former Notre Dame tight end, who goes for 25 yards. Transfer from Notre Dame. He played for the Irish in 06 and 07. And he catches that one for a big Stanford play.
And they get people running in and out. There he is, the inline tight end over the top of Anthony McDonald, and that's why they're so difficult to defend.
Wilkerson gets the pitch. His first carry. And stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Now that was well done at the point of attack.
Anthony Wilkerson, the true freshman, getting the call from Foothill Ranch, California. Gets the 1 carry and then goes back out as Taylor returns. Clock approaching 4.5 minutes, first quarter. This is the first possession by Stanford. They fumbled a punt. Notre Dame recovered it, kicked a field goal. Luck's pass. Caught by Owusu and hit immediately. So the Irish keeping everything in front of them. And that was Darren Walls, who didn't start today because he partially separated his shoulder last week, but is out on the field here and made that hit. Today's first down line brought to you by Xerox. 3rd down and 7.
Now you've got to be cognizant of Stanford's personnel grouping. They run so many running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers into the game. From a defense, you've got to know what you've got. That's 2 wide receivers out wide, an inline tight end, and this is a tight end in the slot right there.
Calabrese coming up to the line and coming on the blitz. Luck passes it, and it's snagged in the end zone for a touchdown by Fleener. Luck saw the pressure coming, put it up for grabs, and it finds a home in the arms of Kobe Fleener. 2nd touchdown catch of the season for Fleener, a 16-yard effort.
And that's why I wanted you to see the tight end flex, because look, there's nobody back here. It's man-to-man. That's an easy read for Andrew Luck. He's isolated on Brian Smith, a linebacker, and once you get a linebacker back turned in space, it's advantage offense every single time.
And now Nate Whitaker, the former Notre Dame walk-on kicker. The extra point is good. He had hit 66 in a row before missing 2 last week against Wake Forest, which kept the Cardinal from getting 70 points. They had to settle for 68. Stanford leads 7-3. So Stanford has Whitaker ready to kick off after they take the lead, and there's Sierra Wood, as we mentioned earlier, called out by Coach Kelly. Said, get it done on kickoff returns or lose your job. And they had a tepid return on his first attempt. He's going to get another chance. He'll down it in the end zone.
Learned his lesson, didn't he? Almost the identical place he caught it the first time.
After a 10-play, 79-yard Stanford drive, Notre Dame tries to answer, starting from their own 20. Showing blitz. And Chris hit, lost the football, and recovered by Stanford.
Sierra Wood got completely overwhelmed by Skove, Shane Skove, the middle linebacker. That's a blitz pickup, whereas a young running back, you can't pick this blitz up. Watch Skove come. If you can't pick this blitz up, you can't play running back in college football. One-on-one, he dropped his head, and he got his quarterback killed. Ball's on the ground, Stanford recovers. That's a game changer right there.
Chase Thomas with a fumble recovery for the Cardinal.
Yep. They might take a look at this to see if his arm's coming through, which I don't believe it is.
And the ball just there on the ground. And none of the Notre Dame players seem to see it. Zach Martin had it just about at his ankles.
Exactly. But Zach's job is to keep his eyes up, right? Not down. And I thought Skove did a nice job. He got the hand wrapped around the elbow so that the ball could not be, the motion could not be continued. The right arm wrapped around the shoulder pad. The left arm came over to get the football. And that's just really good blitz awareness by Skove and a poor blitz pickup by the running back, sophomore Sierra Wood.
It's interesting to see Jim
After
Harbaugh.
further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Yep. And Dane Christ speaking before the game, Harbaugh told us that when he was a junior, he identified Christ and Andrew Luck as two of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country that he wanted to go see play to recruit for Stanford. And by the time he got around to offering Christ, he'd already committed to Notre Dame, but he did sign up Andrew Luck out of Houston Stratford High School. And with the turnover, first down for the Cardinal at the 15 of the Irish. Play action fake. Luck has another completion, this one to his fullback Marisik. It's his first catch of the season.
You know, I've watched a ton of this Stanford tape, and one thing I've come to the conclusion is where 48 is, the ball typically follows. Usually somebody behind him with the football. But here, what you're going to see is Marisik lined up like the H-back over here. And after the fake, he's going to come all the way across the line of scrimmage and catch the football.
Second down. Luck with a handoff. It's to Taylor. He's to the 5-yard line. And close to the first down. They'll mark it just short.
You know, Tom, I was at practice on Thursday, and Notre Dame was working on sudden change. When the offense loses a fumble, throws an interception, you got to come out and make a play. Here's the late substitutions again. Look down here. Number 41 is in the ball game for right here. I think he's a tackle. We don't even have 41 on our roster. I don't know who he is, but I think he's a tackle, and he's in the block, people, folks.
It is McGillicuddy, normally an offensive tackle. Here's the pass, almost picked off. Walls had a chance to grab it, went through his hands, incomplete, as they had double coverage in the end zone on that third down play. It brings up fourth down and a yard.
And everybody knows he's in there to catch. Now he runs a route. They're trying to fool Notre Dame. Walls and Jamara Slaughter do a great job on play action. Slaughter probably has the interception if Walls doesn't make the play in front of him, but double covered on Fleener.
Fleener, who caught the touchdown pass earlier. So on fourth down, field goal attempt by Whitaker, the former Notre Dame kicker. 24-yard attempt. From 24, Whitaker, and it's good. So the Notre Dame turnover results in a Stanford field goal. It's 10-3. Time now for Chalk Talk, presented by Travelers.
Andrew really doesn't have any things that you would say are red flags. He's extremely talented. athletic, very smart, and has a great blend of confidence and humility about him that makes him a tremendous leader.
And that's our Travelers Chalk Talk, as Andrew Luck has a touchdown pass today, his 11th without an interception. And just moments ago, the Cardinal converting a Notre Dame fumble into a field goal to lead at 10-3. Whitaker will kick it off. Wood and Gray are deep for the Irish. Wood 2 yards deep, bringing it out. No, it's Gray. Excuse me. Gray 2 yards deep, coming out with it, and nothing doing. Stopped short of the 20, about the 16-yard line, as the kickoff return team continues to be anemic for the Irish.
Give Stanford some credit. You know who their special teams coach is, Brian Polian, who has been the Notre Dame special teams coach for the last 5 years, moving out to Palo Alto.
And you can follow Alex Flanagan all game long on Twitter at NDF Sideline.
How about that? Why don't we call that, what, scooter.com?
Very good. First down, 16-yard line. Christ whips it to the sideline, and it's caught by Floyd. Michael Floyd draws a crowd. Austin Yancey was the first to arrive.
And that's what Michael Floyd has to do, Tom. He doesn't have to turn everything into a touchdown. He's got to catch the football, be physical, hold on to it. And what's wrong with 6 or 7 yards on first down?
Yep.
That's fine. You stay on plan as an offensive team when you pick up positive yardage like that on first down.
That's what he got, 6 yards on first down. Low snap picked up by Christ and hands to Allen. Armando, second effort, picks up the Notre Dame first down.
And Stanford's in their sub package because Notre Dame has 3 wide receivers in the game, so Notre Dame wants to take advantage of that by running the football. Armando, yep, well, go ahead.
Already over 4,000 yards in his career, 8th all-time in all-purpose yards. And a Stanford injured player.
You know, I was impressed with Armando Allen, and that's Scove, who's really one of the more explosive players on Stanford's defense.
Caused the turnover that led to the field goal.
He missed the first 2 weeks with a knee injury, so I don't know if it's a reoccurrence or not. But the loss of Scove is significant, but keep in mind, Amajoy and Bergen have both played a lot of snaps as backup linebackers, A, because Marisik doesn't play all the time, and B, because Scove missed the first 2 games.
First down from the 27, closing minute of the first quarter. Fake to Allen. Chris rolls, delivers. Caught by Whitman. And pushed out of bounds, 35-yard line. First catch of the game for John Goodman. Pushed out by Batamosi. In fact, that's the first catch of the season for John Goodman. 7-yard gain.
Like the call. Play action. First and 10. Nobody out there. There's the pull by Robinson. He doesn't even have to block anybody. Nice throw by Dane. And again, he's right-handed quarterback, has to continue to work throwing the football, getting his shoulders and hips square to the left side.
Scove has returned as the blitz comes. Penalty marker down. The catch made by Floyd.
Great catch. Offsides, clearly, this time by Stanford. I missed it earlier. I said Scove early in the game was offsides, and he wasn't. On this one, they're clearly offsides, and a great catch by Michael Floyd.
Offside on the defense. Number 3, that penalty's declined. First down.
So the 10-yard catch stays in the books. First down Irish.
Michael Thomas comes off the edge with Batamosi one-on-one on Michael Floyd. Inside technique, throw it up. Now, I'd rather see it on the sideline side. And Michael almost lost the football there going out of bounds, carrying it like a loaf of bread. But if he keeps doing all the fundamental things, the big plays will come. You can't put the ball on the ground.
Which he has in 2 crucial situations against Purdue and last week against Michigan State. But that one good for the first down. Allen only got a yard. That one sniffed out early by the Stanford defense. Thomas Kaiser trapped him after a gain of a yard or so. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. Turnovers have been significant. One led to the Notre Dame field goal. One led to a field goal by Stanford. And at the end of one, the Cardinal lead the Irish by a score of 10-3. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. And we start the second quarter. Notre Dame trying to break a string of 10 straight losses against ranked teams, trailing 10-3. This is a second down and long. Christ crossing route underneath to Riddick. Theo Riddick bumped out of bounds in Cardinal territory by Chase Thomas, but not until he had gained 14 yards and a Notre Dame first down.
And Tom, this time Notre Dame picks up the blitz. Marisic's going to come and Skov back in the game's going to come. Once you handle those two guys, you got a problem here underneath with Chase Thomas trying to cover in zone coverage, of course, Riddick.
Irish first down at the 40 of Stanford. Quick toss and snagged by Floyd, and Michael Floyd with a nice run after the catch. Comes up just short of the first down.
Tom, they're getting hits on the quarterback, even on completed passes. Give Dane Christ credit for hanging in. He's going to take a hit, 5-yard hitch, ball's put on him, and that's another good job by Michael Floyd, who's been the key guy in the pass game so far.
Second down and short. Do you take a shot here?
Certainly can. They got 3 out wide, but this is also count the box and run the ball if they don't adjust.
Pass complete to Goodman. And John Goodman picks up the Irish first down, and Dane Christ, after starting the game 3 of his first 6, has hit 8 in a row.
They're in the tight bunch situation right here. We're just going to run vertical, and out. Try to get a lot of traffic, and because you can't make your way through the trash or the traffic, easy throw and catch, pick up the first down.
5 wide receiver spread offense here with Allen in the slot to the bottom of the screen.
And the tight end, who's always a matchup nightmare, sitting right up there on the hash mark.
That'll be incomplete. Riddick could not hold on, took a tough hit, and the ball springs loose.
Number 11,
Skov that delivered the hit, and Thomas as well.
And when your quarterback's getting hit a lot, you've got to make some fundamental decisions as an offensive coach. Brian Kelly's got to say, okay, can we move the pocket, change the launch point, maybe some play action, keep a tight end or a running back in the block, but any combination of those things to try and protect your quarterback.
Plenty of time for Chris, going for the end zone for Floyd. Collided with the Stanford defender Sherman, and incomplete.
Now, that was 3-man rush, and they played coverage, 8-man coverage, and Sherman was not aggressive at all. And this is 6'3" on 6'3". Very atypical for a corner like Sherman to be so tall. He does a great job seeing the football in the air, cutting off the wide receiver, and it's uncatchable anyway. So Stanford's doing a great job, I think, of mixing up their defensive fronts, their coverages, and their blitzes. They're showing 3, but I guarantee you 1 or 2 of these backers is coming.
Chris takes the low snap. Throws it, and it's caught by Floyd. No, incomplete. Looked like he had it for a moment.
That's a heck of
There's a flag down back upfield in the Notre Dame backfield.
I think you're going to get a hold here.
Braxton Cave getting a lecture from Coach Kelly as
Holding
Floyd walks
on the
back.
offense, number 70. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Zach Martin called for holding.
Again, Christ is getting beat up, and I give him credit for hanging in there. It's the left tackle Martin working on Kaiser from the left side over here. Kaiser gets that arm under, and he holds on to it. But I like what the quarterback Christ does. Stays in the pocket, steps up, and delivers a football.
So a 40-yard field goal attempt on 4th down by David Ruffer. Ruffer has hit one already today. From 40 yards, Ruffer boots it through. Brian Kelly and the Irish trailing 10-6 now after the Ruffer field goal with 13:22 left in this first half. And Ruffer has it teed up, ready to kick it away. Chris Owusu ready to receive the kick. standing about his own 3-yard line.
3 kickoff return touchdowns a year ago and 8 kickoff returns over 40 yards. He's electric if you give him the crease.
He was a teammate of Jimmy Clausen's at Oaks Christian High School. He takes it 2 yards deep and brings it out. Owusu tiptoeing toward the 20 and wrestled down just short of that mark by Steve Filer on Irish special teams. And now it's time for Prime to Perform, presented by Gatorade. And Andrew Luck, Stanford signal caller. His dad Oliver, 5 seasons in the NFL after a sparkling career at West Virginia. Then at Stratford High School in Houston, 53 touchdowns. And as a Stanford starter, 11 and 4. That's our Gatorade Prime to Perform. And Andrew Luck has his dad Oliver in from Morgantown to watch him play today. Fumbled the snap. Looked like he got back on it. Did Luck. Chase Beeler, as we pointed out, is the transfer from Oklahoma, who is his center. The second-team All-American a year ago, and working on his master's degree in history. Chase Beeler.
Smart guys, man. And here's that big tackle. And notice, they're unbalanced. There's nobody besides the tackle there. This is the challenge in their run game. I know they fumbled the snap. Their point is they got tackles and tight ends everywhere, and they're trying to beat on you.
Empty backfield on 2nd and 9.
And empty back here. Chance to take a shot.
Amonum catches it to the 25-yard line. And ridden down there by Capron Lewis Moore.
And Amonum's a guy that can make you miss. And Gary Gray tried to jump that route, and if Amonum gets in the open field, watch out. The running back split out wide, looking for a mismatch.
Fans cranking it up now on 3rd down and 4. There are the numbers for Andrew Luck so far today. From the 25. Luck. Second receiver came open. He looked one way. Checked down to Doug Baldwin, and Baldwin catches it for a Stanford first down. Well, you saw him go through his progression then and found the open man, Baldwin.
You called that exactly right. From behind, watch the quarterback's helmet. You can see which way he's looking. Priest, he's looking to his left, comes back all the way. Excellent job.
First down, 34-yard line.
Unbalanced again. This is a tackle dressed in sheep's clothing right there.
McGillicuddy. Amonum. Not only a yard, stacked up by the center of the Notre Dame line. There's Darius Fleming and Oliver Luck in the stands watching his son perform today. And by all accounts, Andrew Luck, one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in all of college football. And not only that, but he was a valedictorian of his high school class. He's an architectural design major, speaks German. He spent 7 years in Frankfurt, Germany, and 3 years in London when his dad was working in Europe in the World League of American Football. And his coach, Jim Harbaugh, former quarterback, also is strong in his praise of him in every way as a human and as a football player as he completes this pass to Rulin. Conrad Rulin makes it. Looks like it'll be spotted just short of the first down.
His father's a pretty interesting guy, too. I played against him in college. Oliver Luck was a quarterback at West Virginia when I was a defensive back at Boston College. And Oliver Luck, a brilliant guy. Spent a lot of time in Europe. His son speaks a couple languages, right?
Yeah. And Oliver, the athletic director at WVU, West Virginia University. Third down, a yard to go.
Tackle over to the left side. There's 2 tackles at the bottom of the screen.
Toss. Taylor has the first down as he uses his blockers to penetrate Irish territory on the run. Good for a first down after an 8-yard gallop by Stephen Taylor.
So they have 2 tackles on the left side, but what they're going to try and do is come in motion with another tight end and then outflank you. And once they get you outflanked, then you can see Rulin right there gets the down block. That allows tight end to get up in the hole, and also the fullback Marisek. So Fleener gets in the hole, Marisek gets in the hole, the tailback's untouched for 8 yards.
Stanford drive continues from the 49 of the Irish. Handoff, Taylor. To the 45 of Notre Dame as we come under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Two of the outstanding academic institutions in America locked up here on the football field. Stanford 3-0 for the first time since 2001, ranked 16th in the nation and hoping to break a 7-game losing streak at Notre Dame Stadium. Luck checking his wristband for the play call, and there's our first down line brought to you by Xerox.
Those two tight ends to the other side now, constantly forcing you to shift with them. And there goes motion back to the eye.
Luck tipped and incomplete as the Irish got pressure on Andrew Luck that time, and the ball was tipped. Couldn't quite see who it was. Maybe Hafiz Williams, maybe Darius Fleming. Let's see if we can pick it up.
Right here, Hafiz Williams elevating, getting that big left paw up there. Good job forcing a 3rd and 5 or 6 here. Here's a critical down for both teams.
Irish defense looking for a big stop here on 3rd down and 6. Luck might be adjusting the coverage.
Got man coverage here with nobody behind.
Looks that way. And wide open, the catch made by Whalen. Whalen got away from the tackle. Finally is knocked out of bounds.
And you got to make that tackle because that forces a punt. Luck hangs in there, throws it off his back foot. Now you got to come up and tackle. It's 1-on-1. You've got 3-yard cushion right there. You drop your head. Don't contain him. Darren Wall's there. Now when he drops the football, he fumbles the football, it comes back to the point of the fumble, not ahead where the ball goes out of bounds. Darren Walls has to make that tackle and force a 4th down situation.
As it is, it will be just enough for a first down. So the ball is marked where the fumble occurred, and Stanford is 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions on this drive. First at the 38 of the Irish. Pass incomplete. On the carom, it could have been picked off as Taylor couldn't hang on to it, and the ball just hanging out there, but it falls to the turf incomplete. Kerry Neal the closest to it for the Irish, and Teo and Slaughter there as well.
Yeah, good coverage. Luck had to come back the other way from where he was looking, and like you said, Tom, Teo from the inside, Kerry Neal from the outside. Really good coverage on both sides that time.
Stanford, which a week ago against Wake Forest scored on 10 of their first 11 possessions, driving here on 2nd and 10, hoping to add to their 10-6 lead.
Unbalanced again, going to the wide side.
Amanam uses his blockers. Finally, they catch him wrestling to the turf at the 35-yard line.
You've only got to guard and tackle backside. It's unbalanced again. Guard, tackle here. Everybody's over here with a tight bunch. Watch here. If you control the contained guy at the line of scrimmage, there's the down block. You allow your right tackle, Derek Hall, to get out there, and Amanam makes the easy cut.
Another 3rd down. Again, Stanford has converted all 3 on this drive. This one from the 34 of the Irish. With the motion, it's an empty backfield. Blitz comes from Notre Dame. And flags will stop the play.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 82. The fighter penalty, 3rd down.
82 is Fleener.
Yeah, he had to flinch from the one-hand stance to flinch and put the other hand down. You can't do that. Forces Stanford now on the 3rd down conversion. 55% team today, 5 for 6. What's that, about 84, 85% there?
It's
if
good.
I remember it's good. Now you're 3rd and 11. You can play protection here. You can blitz and try and get the ball out of the hands and get up and tackle. Much better situation for the defense.
Notre Dame rushes 4. Luck's pass drilled to the 20-yard line for a Stanford first down to Doug Baldwin. That covered 19 yards.
Good throw and catch. You're going to see what happens is Baldwin gets outside the linebacker, and as soon as he clears him right there, that's the key for Luck to throw that in route. Jamar Slaughter has got to read the eyes and drive. Well thrown football. Good job by Baldwin using his body to protect it from Slaughter.
Another third down conversion.
Backup quarterback Lucas in the game.
And it is Alex Lucas. As they pitch the ball and go the other way and nothing doing. Nice play by Gary Gray. They pitched it to Amanum, and Gray catches him from behind for a loss of 2 as Alex Lucas came into the game from Bannockburn, Illinois, 6'4", 210 pounds. He's played in all 3 games. Has hit 2 of 5 from the air and has rushed for a touchdown as Luck watches from the sideline. That'll be a false start. Fresh quarterback in the game and a little mix-up on the cadence for Jim Harbaugh's team.
And here comes Luck again back on the field. So we assume, although we don't know, that there was no injury involved. And it looked like a change of pace where they were trying to get a quarterback involved in the run game, because Lucas has run the ball 11 times for 111 yards. And again, I'm not a math major, but what's your definition? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, good. But the false start makes it second down and 17 from the Irish 27. Long drive here by Stanford that began back to the 15-yard line.
There's the tackle again, 41. McGillicuddy lined up at tight end.
Play action fake. Luck. Plenty of time. Now the protection breaks down and he scrambles away. Keeps the play alive. Finally collared inside the 35-yard line. Or inside the 25, I should say, just short of the 20.
Really good coverage by the Notre Dame secondary. Again, they're a little banged up. You can see the crossing route underneath. He chooses not to go the crossing route because they know they've got to get the ball down the field. Baldwin running his route. Good job by Blanton. At that point, quarterback had already pulled the ball down, Andrew Luck, and made something out of nothing.
Another third down, 3rd and 13. They've converted every third down so far this drive.
More
and
confusion.
Stanford takes a timeout.
Yeah, Stephon Taylor had no idea where to line up or what he was doing.
So timeout Stanford. It comes with 5:05 left in the first half. 3rd down and 13 facing Stanford here. They just converted a 3rd and 11 a moment ago.
Interesting to see if they heat him up a little bit. They played coverage last time. I expect to see him come after him this time.
Andrew Luck in the pocket. Goes for the end zone, and the catch is no good. Out of bounds to Baldwin. Baldwin caught it, but he was out of bounds, defended by Robert Blanton.
And they came with heat, leaving a one-on-one on the outside. Blanton the corner on Baldwin. Pretty good coverage. He turns into the football. Look at the catch by Baldwin, but clearly out of bounds. No question. Brings up a 4th down, and I don't even think they'll take a second look at that. That was clear.
It's going to be a 41-yard field goal attempt by the former Notre Dame kicker, Nate Whitaker. Nate Whitaker. Field goal attempt up, and it is perfect. And Andrew Luck with a touchdown pass today as Stanford leads Notre Dame 13-6. Just under 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Whitaker, who has a pair of field goals, will kick it off to Wood and Gray. Short kick. Taken by Sierra Wood. On a little seam for a moment before he's twisted down at the 30-yard line. Second quarter, 4:48 left. 13-6 Stanford. And Notre Dame with a first down play from the 31. It's to Jonas Gray. Crosses the 40-yard line close to the first down marker. It will be enough for Notre Dame first down on the carry by Jonas Gray.
kind of like the substitution with Gray. It's been a very physical game. Up until that point, they had 10 rushes for 10 yards. And I think what he brings, Gray, is a more physical presence. He's a downhill, tough guy. And trust me, Stanford is a downhill, tough defense.
5'10", 230, the junior from Pontiac, Michigan, Jonas Gray. Christ hands it off to Gray. Christ was rolling to his left. The movement went that way, and then they tried a little counter play back to Gray. They got not very much.
That's the 2010 version of the sprint draw. We used to see that 20 years ago out of I formation. You start that way, and then you bring it back the other way. You've got to hold your point of attack long for Trevor Robinson, the guard there, and it takes a while to develop, but you're hoping for the misdirection to bring the defense with you.
Mazafilo first to hit him. Under 4 minutes now. On second down, Marisic showing blitz. Comes from the other side. Christ is in trouble, and down he goes. That'll be a sack. Third sack of the day by the Stanford defense. It was Scove, who has been in the backfield half the day, that came, and Fua and Mazafilo also collapsing on Dane Christ.
Thomas and Scove off the edge. Thomas comes clean. They've got to get their pass protection cleaned up, or he's got to throw hot, meaning get rid of the football immediately, because there's been too many busts right there, and he's taken a lot of hits so far early in the ballgame.
So 3rd down and 10 from the 42. Christ throws it, and it's almost intercepted. Michael Floyd, the intended receiver, but he was double covered, and the pass was short, and Michael Thomas made a dive at it but couldn't hold on.
Stanford's defense really doing a nice job confusing the Notre Dame offense. Come off the edge there. They play coverage. Look at Scove get underneath the tight end. They're immediately running under Kyle Rudolph, trying to take him away.
Ben Turk, fair catch called for by Baldwin. Dane Christ got an earful from Brian Kelly as he came to the sideline.
This is a different challenge for Dane Christ today. A lot of man-to-man, different blitz packages coming out of that 3-4 front, and I think it's been a little bit difficult of an adjustment both for the quarterback and his offensive pass protection.
Stanford from the 21. Play action fake. Luck rolls to his right, and breaking off the route with great presence is Griff Whalen, who makes the catch for 13 yards.
Typically on bootleg, what you're trying to do is get your quarterback with a half-field read, and it's a one-on-one, obviously, with Griff Whalen, and watch him work back. He makes him think he's going deep, breaks back to the football. It's well thrown. Darren Walls had to turn his hips and run.
First down, Stanford. They had a long drive their last possession that resulted in a field goal. Now with 2.5 minutes to go till halftime. Running play to Taylor. Not much on the carry by Taylor.
I think it's been pretty impressive defensively on both sides. Now Luck's at the line of scrimmage right now, talking to everybody. Getting close to 2 minutes. He's controlling the football game right now.
From the no huddle. Luck under center. Drops. Delivers. Caught. Again, it's Fleener's having a big day receiving the football. Had a touchdown catch earlier.
Man coverage. Fleener, a tight end that runs a lot like a wide receiver and has a big body.
12 yards, first down. Hurry up offense for the Cardinal from their own 49. Luck lobs it up top. And broken up. It was intended for Owusu. And good coverage by Robert Blanton downfield as Luck hung it up for Owusu. Just let him run under it. And it's incomplete.
And he had one-on-one because he's here by himself. Everybody else, these three defensive backs, are all front side. So Luck knew pre-snap he had one-on-one and decided to just take a shot here towards the end of the first half. Let Owusu run under it, but really good coverage by Blanton. Now you got to turn and run, locate the football, and go catch it. I think that's a situation the coverage was so good. If Blanton didn't hesitate, he had a chance to make a play on the football.
2nd and 10. Luck steps in the pocket. His pass batted down by Manti Te'o just at the last second intended again for the tight end Fleener.
Te'o does a great job at the very end of this play. See him right here. When the ball's delivered, I thought they were going to complete it. But he reads the eyes and the hands of the wide receiver, and at the last second, right there, gets the right hand in, disrupts the reception. That's a heck of a job by Te'o. And Tom, if you remember at the beginning of the year, he told us the biggest challenge for him was his pass coverage, and I think he's really done a nice job.
So 3rd down and 10. Stanford has been excellent on 3rd downs today.
And the man on the edges.
Luck hit as he delivers, but the pass is caught down to the 30-yard line. It's Fleener again.
Fleener was the inline tight end. He had man-to-man against Zeke Motta. Another key 3rd down taken advantage of by Stanford.
21-yard gain. Fleener's having a career day in this first half.
Inline tight end, presses inside, back out away from Motta. Ball's thrown on time.
Andrew Luck going again for Owusu. Intercepted on the deflection. Jamoris Slaughter upended at the 30-yard line as he crosses. Then a late flag comes in.
Tom, Brian Kelly, Bobby Diaco have been talking about somebody stepping up and making a play. Andrew Luck had this thing rolling. Blanton with really good coverage gets the deflection. And that's a critical part. That takes points off the board. It's a 1-touchdown game.
So Blanton deflects it. Slaughter grabs it. Here's the penalty.
During the return, clipping on the intercepting team, number 5, the penalty is half the distance from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
So Manti Te'o called for the infraction on the return.
Oliver Luck looking to take a deep shot, one-on-one. How about Blanton? He's right there. Deflects the ball with his right hand. Jamoris Slaughter with the alert play. And that's what we're talking about. Taking advantage. The ball's in the air. 13-6. We'll be right back.
Andrew Luck intercepted for the first time this season on the deflection by Blanton into the arms of Slaughter. And after the penalty, Notre Dame takes over at its own 14-yard line with 1:21 and 1 timeout. And they'll run it to Armando Allen. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Kaiser jumped on his back early.
Each team only has 1 timeout left. Usually you'd see one of the 2 teams calling a timeout right here. But with 1:05 and rolling.
Stanford's impact receiver has been Fleener today, the tight end, and yet Kyle Rudolph, who leads all the tight ends in receiving yards in football,
there you go,
still does not have a catch. Does have 1 catch, excuse me.
Little rollout, very safe pass. Chris gets hit again. It hits him right in the helmet, trying to run too quickly.
Rudolph has 1 catch for 1 yard.
And I'll tell you right now, Stanford's doing a nice job being aware of where he is on the field. They're running linebackers and safeties under him to take that option away immediately.
Now 3rd down and 10, 51 seconds left in this first half. Handed off, Armando Allen. A couple yards, a few boos ring down as Brian Kelly plays it safe.
That incomplete hurt them. The drop pass hurt them because it stopped the clock. Now you've got 45 seconds and a timeout.
And Stanford calls its final timeout.
You know, Tom, there's been an awful lot of pressure on Dane Christ, and Vic Fangio's defense has been explosive off the edges. I told you, they play a lot of man and they're going to get after you. Bang! Chase Thomas early in the game. Kaiser, the other outside linebacker. Scove, I thought he was offsides. He wasn't. Comes in with a big hit. Scove again forcing the fumble, which led to 3 points. So a ton of pressure on Dane Christ, and Brian Kelly's been a little bit frustrated with Christ's reaction to the pass protection.
There's the beating he's taken today, and after he went through a string where he hit 8 straight completions, he's missed his last 5.
And you need to cover here. 45 seconds. You can't let any kind of big attack. And conversely for Stanford, obviously, if you get a good run back here, you got plenty of time to get the field goal in.
Ben Turk. They put some pressure on him. Here's Baldwin. This is the first punt that's been returned against Turk this season. And it gets out to midfield where Baldwin is tackled. So Andrew Luck out with 34 seconds left. And at intermission, back to our New York studio for the Discover halftime report.
Ball's exactly on midfield, 34 seconds with no timeouts left. And if I know Jim Harbaugh, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't try and get this football in field goal position.
Here's Luck on first down, setting up a screen. It's complete to Taylor. Taylor hit hard, driven out of bounds, though, by Harrison Smith. That's a gain of 7. Stops the clock at 27 seconds.
Call that the peekaboo screen, where the running back, Taylor, just kind of whiffs at the outside linebacker and then slides out to the flat for the screen. Now, if we're looking at a field goal attempt, from a career perspective, Nate Whitaker is only 6 of 11 over 40. So they need another plus or minus 15 yards to give him a realistic shot.
And Luck looks to do that as he drills it down the middle, and it's caught. That's Whalen again, Griff Whalen. Brian Whalen, who is maybe their top receiver, injured and unable to play today, but Griff Whalen has a 17-yard reception before he's wrapped up by Zeke Mata at the 25-yard line now with a first down. Luck trying to escape and does. And he'll duck out of bounds before Teo can hit him right into the Notre Dame band.
Back-to-back huge plays for Stanford. Points on the board before halftime are critical. 8 seconds left. First they hit Whalen, the former walk-on, to get it down to the 25-yard line, followed by the athletic play of Luck, and I don't think Harbaugh's going to wait any longer.
Field goal unit comes out. So Stanford trying to rack up a field goal here just before halftime. Whitaker has already hit 2 today. This one from 36 yards. From 36, Whitaker once again splits the uprights. So Whitaker, who said he wanted to come back and show Notre Dame what they missed when he left here and transferred to Stanford, and he has been perfect in his kicks so far. Andrew Luck with congratulations for the field goal team as the Cardinal add 3 just before halftime, 4 seconds left.
Watch this. Talk about a gentleman. Okay, I'm in the band. Now what do you do? Oh, are you okay? I'm sorry. All right. Check it out. Good. All right. Thanks. His parents are proud, Thomas. Brian Polian, special teams coach. Tom, you got to know over the last 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, he's been Notre Dame assistant. Bill Polian, his dad, of course, longtime front office man in professional football, now with the Colts. Before that was with the Bills. Is that right?
Yeah, he's one of the best in the business. His dad, his brother Chris is with his dad in Indy. His brother Dennis is in Minnesota with Brad Childress. You want to talk about a football family? It's not just the Harbaughs at Stanford. You know what I mean?
So Whitaker will boot it. 4 seconds left.
Squibber.
As expected, a squibber, which will be picked up on the hop. And Sierra Wood, as the first half comes to a close, out to the 45-yard line. So the Cardinal with a field goal just before intermission to up their lead. And as the first half comes to a close, the 16th ranked Cardinal leading Notre Dame by 10 at 16-6 as Brian Kelly kind of gathering his team up there as Stanford is already in the tunnel running toward the locker room. And let's go down to Alex.
Well, Coach, let's start with the last 1 minute and 21 seconds on this clock. It's got to be disappointing that you get the turnover, can't capitalize on it, and then allow them to score a field goal.
Yeah, well, we ran the ball and just obviously came up with nothing trying to run the football here and eat some clock going into the half. And, you know, again, if you can't run the football, you can't be a championship team.
Can you run the football in the second half?
Well, I mean, we have opportunities during the game where we try to find ways to, get first downs, and that's at the end of the half here. You're trying to get a first down running the ball. We'll run when we need to. This was a time we needed to run the football, and we didn't do a very good job.
It looks like they're getting a lot of pressure on Dane. What does it look like to you?
Yeah, obviously he's uncomfortable right now in the pocket. We got to get him settled down at half and come out, maybe pick up the tempo.
Thank you.
All right, so halftime here at Notre Dame with Stanford leading the Irish 16-6. Plenty ahead now. Stay tuned for the Discover Halftime Report. And don't forget, the halftime performance of the Notre Dame Band can be seen at NBCSports.com. Now to Jimmy Roberts in our New York studio. Ready to start the third quarter at Notre Dame Stadium. Stanford 16 and Notre Dame 6. The Irish to kick off to open the second half. David Ruffer will put his toe to the ball, and Chris Owusu is the deep man for the Cardinal. And Owusu takes the short kick at about the 8-yard line. As a seam, finally twisted down, but a good return as he crosses the 35 to the 36-yard line. And now Coke Zero explores the playbook of possibilities.
We've talked all game. Stanford's downhill run game. 2 tackles on the left side. Jonathan Martin and Derek Howe. They want to outflank you at the point of attack. The down block by the tight end, Rulin, right there, allows the tight end, Fleener, and the fullback, Marisek, to get clear shots into the second and the third level. The tailback, Taylor, it's a no-brainer.
Coke Zero playbook of possibilities as Stanford puts it in play from the 36-yard line with a handoff to Taylor. He's just short of the 40-yard line as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Tom, well, at the half, a very methodical Jim Harbaugh reminding his team that they need to play every play in this game. Focus on every single play. Want to remind you, he said that there were 2 keys that they had to win this game. First, he said his team would have to pressure Dane Christ, and then they would have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage on both defense and offense. So far, doing that, Tom.
Yeah, check and check. Second down and 6.
Confusion in the secondary.
Andrew Luck looked one way, came back the other way, found his man. It's Ertz. Zach Ertz with his 3rd catch of the season. Manti Te'o wraps him up. And the tight ends have been Andrew Luck's best friend today.
And they have been all season, Tom. That's a good call. But look at the secondary here. Not sure where to go, not sure where to go. All the motion and the shifting is causing some confusion amongst the linebackers and the secondary. It's hard to play when you're confused. 3rd down and a yard.
And Taylor picks up the first down. Harrison Smith grabs him around the ankles, but not until Taylor, the sophomore from Mansfield, Texas, picks up the first down.
Watch the left guard Phillips pull up through the hole. This is John Harbaugh type fullback. This is just smash mouth, power football. Guard Phillips comes around, the fullback Marisek. That's an old school I formation. It's called power, where power O. You bring the offside guard through and they convert the first down.
They've converted 8 of 10 third downs in the game. This is Amano. And Amanum, short gain. You mentioned Andrew Phillips, Mike. Andrew, who already has his classics degree from Stanford. His dad, Bill, was killed in that Alaskan plane crash that took the life of former Senator Ted Stevens in August. And in fact, Bill was a former aide to Stevens. And Bill's death really sent a shock through the Stanford community, and especially Andrew. But Andrew back playing football, and he nearly came to Notre Dame, but his dad, he said, was responsible for him going to Stanford, and he has a couple of other brothers playing college football. Colder plays at the University of Virginia, and Paul plays at IU. And here's a pass complete to Owusu. Big gain for Owusu all the way to the 30-yard line. Harrison Smith after a gain of 20.
And when you see a wide receiver with a tight split, you've got to expect a crossing route, and that's what you're going to get from Owusu. Uses the referee as a little bit of a pick, catches the football, and he's dangerous with the ball in his hand. Harrison Smith finally drags him down.
So big chunks of yardage being ripped off by Stanford on this opening drive of the third quarter. Looking for the play call here. That's Andrew Luck looking at the armband of Chase Beeler, his center.
I don't really get that.
Seems to be working. Pressure came. They picked up the blitz, and the completion is to Ruland. And that's just textbook by Stanford, picking up the blitzer and getting it for 14 yards.
And Manti Te'o overruns this a little bit. Ruland, the tight end, does an excellent job jumping right in behind as Te'o expands. Te'o expands. He lets him get behind them. Loses both contact. Eye vision with the quarterback and with the receiver. A cardinal sin for a coverage linebacker.
Gary Gray blitzing, picked up. Big gain. First down run. Stephon Taylor hit hard. Maybe got 3 yards.
And this game, Tom, is going exactly the way Jim Harbaugh would like to see it go. Just slowly strangling this Notre Dame team, both offensively and defensively. They get the field goal at the end of the half to go up 10. Get the football at the beginning of the second half and methodically drive the football down the field. Short runs, short passes, and all of a sudden, they're on the 15-yard line.
If Stanford can negotiate this minefield of opponents these next 3 games, they could be a top 5 team at Notre Dame today, then at Oregon, and then home against USC. Wide open. The ball hangs up, though, and enables the defense to collapse on Owusu. And Walls and Slaughter knock it free, but had he been able to drill it, it would have been a completion for a touchdown.
It's a 2-level route, and they're hoping that the corner is going to jump on the short one, and then they're going to run the flag in behind it. And what happens is textbook coverage by Walls. Doesn't jump the short one. He knows he's got a safety coming over the top. They both converge at the point, and you're right, Tom. Had the ball been thrown either earlier or more sharply, it's a touchdown.
Instead, it's 3rd down and 8. Notre Dame looking for a rare 3rd down stop. Luck pumps once, has to go the other way, being chased. Throws it up for grabs, and it is incomplete, knocked away. That was a dangerous pass. Brian Smith nearly intercepted it, intended for Fleener, but Luck should have thrown that one away.
Yeah, and there was disconnects all over the place. Owusu didn't even get off the line of scrimmage barely. He was to the right side, and now Luck is looking to the right. Owusu didn't even start. There's nothing there, so now he reacts back to his left, and I agree with you here, Tom, also. Bad decision to throw the ball across your body late over the middle.
So Whitaker with another field goal attempt, 33 yards. He's been perfect today. 23, 42, and 36, and this one too is on the money. Whitaker has kicked 4 for 4 today in the field goal department. And the deep men, Sierra Wood and Jonas Gray. And the kickoff will be a good one, a yard deep, and Wood is going to come out. Sierra Wood does cross the 20, gets it out to the 24-yard line where Dane Christ will put it in play. Time now for Doing the Right Thing, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
I think the key to this football game has been the pressure Stanford's gotten consistently on the quarterback Christ. Big hit first, Thomas. Scove, the linebacker. Scove again. Chase Thomas. Second level pressure from their linebackers has been the difference in this football game.
That's the Northwestern Mutual doing the right thing by the Stanford defense. First down run by Armando Allen. Coach Kelly telling Alex as he went through locker room at halftime, they have to be able to run the ball, and it looked like Allen should have been stopped after a gain of a yard, but he turns it out for a pretty nice first down run.
I like that. Let's see if they pick the pace up also here. I thought they were a little slow from a pace perspective. Get the block on Kaiser. Scove can't make the tackle, and like you said, just keeps keeping the legs going. That's a great 8-yard carry.
To Allen. And Armando using his blockers downfield, but there's a flag. Gain of 12 if it stands. Taylor Scoffel was the man that made the play for Stanford.
That time Notre Dame outflanking.
Holding on the offense, number 9. The penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul, second down.
Kyle Rudolph with a hold nullifies a 12-yard gain.
And he's at the point of attack. You're trying to outflank this defense, and you do. And Kyle Rudolph, the junior tight end, Caught with a hold on Scoffle right there. Good call. Little life there, though, Tom. Two consecutive running plays. You can't make a mistake like that, especially your veteran that's played so many games in Rudolph.
2nd down and 3 after the penalty. Again, it's Allen that handles the football, and will be tackled just beyond the 1st down marker. 1st down Irish. Marisic made the hit for the Cardinals.
I've been expecting to see some running back screens here with the amount of pressure Stanford's putting defensively. You got to slow them down a little bit. Launch points, play action, screen.
Christ looking to the sideline. Changes the protection. Still has it. And wide open was Jones. And Jones with a nice gain to the 45. I think that's his first catch of the game. It goes for 21 yards.
Second time they've run bootleg. Second time Christ has come on the edge with absolutely no pressure.
That was unusual. You could hear the fans reacting because Jones was standing there all by himself for a long time, it seemed.
Now watch the play action here, and Chris will come off. Here comes the play action. 44, Thomas bites. So you've got the edge clean. Once you have the edge clean, you have unimpeded vision to the wide receiver, and Jones was wide open because both the corner, Batamosi, and the safety went with the vertical route.
There is an injured Stanford player on the field. The injured Stanford player was Michael Thomas, who was shaken up on this play.
He's coming in late, trying to make a cut and a tackle. And watch what happens to his leg as it gets caught underneath right there. The left leg gets caught underneath. So whether it's an ankle or a knee, we don't know. But certainly caught in a compromising position. And keep in mind, he's a starting free safety and the nickel. So right now, Terrence Brown is in as nickel. We don't know who'll come in at free safety.
Meanwhile, Dane Christ has started the second half 2 for 2, hitting 2 players who didn't catch a pass in the first half, Jones and Allen. This one low and wide of Michael Floyd, incomplete.
And they picked up the pressure that time. The new sub, Terrence Brown, came off the edge. They picked it up. That's where Dane Christ has got to put this on Michael Floyd. No excuses that time for Dane Christ. And what I'm seeing a little bit is some uncertainty on Dane Christ's part. I think he got used to the way things were going the first 3 games, Tom, and he's seen a completely different defensive package, and it's taken him some time to adjust.
See the scores with Arkansas leading top-ranked Alabama.
Wow.
Armando Allen, nowhere to go, trapped in the backfield. That was an excellent play by Fua, I believe, who came off a block and was waiting there to gather up Armando Allen.
Yeah, Fua is really a good football player. Tri-captain. Watch this tackle right here. He's a tri-captain, honorable mention, all Pac-10. Does a great job on the 2-gap right there and comes off the 2-gap and makes the tackle. You can't do it any better from the defensive tackle position on that play.
So 3rd and long for Notre Dame. They are 2 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. They've missed 5 in a row.
Showing 3. Are they going to bring any more? Just 3-man pressure.
Christ, despite only 3-man pressure, is sacked for the 4th time today. It's Thomas Kaiser that gets there first.
You know, you got to pull the trigger. And even though there's 8 men, I thought the slot was open. If he pulled the trigger and made a decisive decision right down in this area, right about here. See what happens? Once he clears that underneath, I'm sorry, right here. I thought that had to be earlier. And I mentioned before the snap, I think he's indecisive, and it's costing him right now.
Ben Turk is in punt formation with Baldwin deep. And that was not a good punt. Well, things starting to unravel a little bit early here in the 3rd quarter for the Irish. 7:32 left. Well, Ben Turk tried a little rugby-style punt, and it went for 18 yards. Put that one back in the playbook or back in the dustbin, wherever it goes. 1st down, Stanford. Andrew Luck rolling. Irish in pursuit, but can't get there until Teo grabs him as he goes out of bounds. Looked like that he was trying to stop his momentum rather than hit him out of bounds, and there is no flag.
Agreed.
And Teo and Luck exchange pats of the helmet.
Brian Smith did a nice job running with the tight end on the wheel route. Wheel route is an out and up pattern by an inside receiver, and Brian Smith did a really nice job running at least 30 yards down the field with the tight end.
Now from the 45 and a Stanford first down. Taylor thrown back. And Ty Teo was first to hit him and had some company from Brandon Newman and others. Capron Lewis Moore.
Kind of a quiet stadium, hasn't it become, Tom?
Yeah, it's just they've been unable to really stop Stanford, and Stanford has the Irish offense under control. They didn't come in ranked #1 in pass defense in the nation for nothing, and they put pressure on Christ repeatedly, and the Irish have been unable to stop the stunning defense of the Cardinals. Tipped and intercepted. Darren Walls. See if that can ignite the crowd and the Irish. As Walls picks off the tipped ball, it was Kerry Neal who was able to deflect it into the arms of Darren Walls. So 2 interceptions of Andrew Luck today, his first 2 of the season, both on deflected passes.
And Luck coming back. Good deflection, as you called it, right there by Kerry Neal, and a great reaction by Darren Walls. 3rd turnover of the game for Stanford. It's 19-6.
Andrew Luck picked off for the 2nd time today on a deflected pass. And now it's up to the Notre Dame offense to try to get something going. They'll take over at their own 44-yard line. He'd gone 11 touchdowns, no interceptions before having the 2 picked off today on deflected passes. So Jim Harbaugh sees his defense take the field without Michael Thomas, who was shaken up on the last series. Chris, dangerous, incomplete, intended for Floyd.
As good as Dane has been the first 3 weeks, that one's got to be to the outside. He's got an inside leveraged player coming to make a play. It's got to be thrown at the sidelines. And I give this Notre Dame defense some credit. 1 touchdown, 4 field goals.
They've allowed a lot of yards, but they haven't allowed any touchdowns save the 1 catch by the tight end.
Bend but don't break. Blitz. Take me out.
Looking for Rudolph, who was double covered and overshooting him anyway.
I really think Stanford's done a great job running people at Rudolph. He's had 18 catches in the last 2 weeks. Here he is on the inside, and they've got people running past him, the linebacker Thomas, and then people coming underneath him, the linebacker Marisik.
Rudolph with 1 catch for 1 yard.
Talking about a guy that had, what, 8 catches against Michigan for 164, 8 more against Michigan State. They're trying to take him out of the football game, and they pretty much have.
Stanford showing blitz.
7 up, 2 drop out, 5 are coming.
And that one should have been intercepted. Marisik had it go right out of his hands, intended for Riddick, and Chris wasn't even close on that series. He threw a low ball that never made it to Floyd and overshot Rudolph, and this one to Riddick. Lucky it wasn't intercepted.
7 up. Marisik was one of the 2 that dropped out on a 45-degree angle, drove on the anticipated route, made the play in front of Riddick, and that's great coaching by Vic Fangio. Showing 7, bringing 5, and so far Dane Chris looks like a confused first-year quarterback, which is what he is.
Turk. This one skies after his subpar effort the last time, and Baldwin lets it roll, takes a good Notre Dame roll. Around the 10-yard line. Stanford from the Cardinal 11. Taylor. Teo.
You could hear that up here, couldn't you? You could hear that one. That's a really good job getting run fits inside and allowing Teo to run. Here's Teo right here. Watch him just run. Clears all the people inside. Bang. Love it.
You could hear the hit by Teo, setting up a 2nd down and 7. Hold for a moment for Taylor. Then a late flag comes down.
This is a Jim Harbaugh game. They're holding you to 6 points defensively. They're banging, banging, banging. Play action. Second.
Face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
You know, Tom, 2nd and 8, what do? They run the ball. He wants to run the clock. He wants to pressure the Notre Dame defense into forcing a stop. And when they get the football back, he's done a great job with their blitz package. So right now, Stanford's got everything going their way on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
And we mentioned that the Notre Dame defense had been able to hold them with only the 1 touchdown, but at this rate, they're going to run out of steam pretty soon.
Yep. And Notre Dame's +2 in the turnover differential department, which is usually a big deal, but Stanford's defense has just been too stout for them.
Luck hands it off. Amanam. Another hard hit by Teo. But it didn't prevent a nice run by Amanam.
Well called by you. 6-7 yards down the field at least, but a huge hit by Teo. Watch him coming downhill. Right here. That is a big hit, leading with the right foot and the right shoulder for maximum impact. Wow.
But it was a gain of 9. Taylor this time has the 1st down.
Talk about 1975 kind of football. That's what we talked about up front. I haven't seen this much ISO and power since I played back in the late 70s and early 80s. I mean, I formation. Here comes the lead, the backside guard. David DeCastro gets up in the hole. Lower your pad level as a running back. It doesn't look like a big deal, but you turn around and 5, 6, 7 yards later, it's a 1st down.
And chewing the clock, which is now under 4 minutes, 3rd quarter. Taylor cut back, stopped after a 2 or 3 yard gain. It was Teo again in the middle of things. He's been tough against the run here in this series.
But you certainly sense that Stanford is wearing down this Notre Dame defense. And again, I give Bob Diaco a ton of credit. Bend but don't break. But right now, I really think they're tired. A lot of snaps.
1st down line brought to you by Xerox. Taylor got into the secondary and picks up another Stanford 1st down. Harrison Smith had to stop him, and he was only 1 man away from breaking that one all the way to the end zone.
And we talked about number 41, Mac the Knife. He's been number 74. He's been number 80. Here he is. That's a tackle lined up on the wing. Where do you think the football's going to go? Yep. Double team down, kick out. That's power football at its finest, and I'm telling you right now, somewhere Jack Harbaugh's watching the game, Jim's dad, and just smiling.
Again in the I formation on 1st down. And again, it's the tailback who gets the call. And this time thrown for a loss is Taylor by Darius Fleming.
Now, is that the first time you've called his name today, do you think?
Yeah, maybe the 2nd time. There haven't been many.
Point being, last week I thought he had a little bit of a breakout game. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, a lot of pressure. He's an athletic kid with a tremendous physical skill set. He plays the rush linebacker position in this 3-4, and Darius Fleming has to be a defensive playmaker for this defense to be real good.
Made the play that time, -3.
And defense.
Luck stands in his pocket, and his pass is incomplete. It was intended for Anthony Wilkerson. with Calabrese, the linebacker, covering.
That's a really good job by an inside linebacker covering a running back. Give Calabrese credit.
So 3rd down and 13. And if that sounds familiar, it seems like there have been a lot of them today, but usually Stanford has converted.
Let's see if Notre Dame chooses to heat them up here. 3rd and 13. They're showing the 4-man defensive line with Fleming and Neal.
8 for 11. Stanford has converted. Here's the toss to Taylor. Taylor tries to cut back and is stopped by Teo. Somebody lit a fire under Manti Teo that series. He was a one-man wrecking crew for the Irish defense.
Wow.
And he has a career high 14 tackles today.
Wow. And again, they're going to try and outflank you. Here's Teo. Watch him come down and make the play. Tight ends, they pull it around. He comes underneath the pulling guard and underneath the tight ends. And boy, 3rd down, they're fired up. Defense has played their tails off.
Zaklinski, the punter, in punt formation. This is the first punt of the game by Stanford. John Goodman deep for Notre Dame. High punt. First punt of the game by the Cardinal will be downed at the 1 or 2 yard line. Can't do it much better than that, as they get the high punt downed inside the 1 yard line. The Notre Dame offense has been missing in action against that tough Stanford D today. Only 2 first-half field goals, and now backed up with the ball resting between the 1 and the 2 yard line of the Irish, trying to pound it out, and they get only a yard with Armando Allen.
It's a dangerous place here. You're down 13. Oh, Allen's down. But you're down 13. You're in the shadow of your own end zone. You've got no offensive life whatsoever, and your quarterback's playing a little bit confused right now with that front, so you're afraid to take advantages. So for a head coach who calls the plays, it's a little bit confusing for him.
Here's the play in which Allen was injured.
Just pulling the backside guard. Robinson. Allen makes the cut. Left leg right there. Almost exactly like what looks like what happened to Michael Thomas. Get the leg caught underneath somebody else's body, and it's typically either an ankle or a knee.
Allen up on his feet. And will be helped to the sideline. So Jonas Gray will come in to replace Armando Allen, as the Irish have a 2nd down and 9 from their own 3 yard line. Christ rolling to his left, plants his feet, his pass caught by Floyd. And Michael Floyd has a 1st down as he goes out of bounds.
Love the call. It takes them away from the middle of the field. It changes the launch point. Sprints out to his left. Michael Floyd at the top of the screen runs the defensive back off, who's in a deep zone coverage, and Terrence Brown, the sub guy, is in the game. So they're going to roll to his left, away from pressure, change the launch point, soft zone defense, and Tom, that's a critical 1st down. Okay, this game feels slow. Just feel everything about this game. I don't feel the same pace from Notre Dame.
They called sideline interference on Stanford. So Notre Dame gets the ball out to the 20 yard line. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Jonas Gray can't turn the corner. Fans want a horse collar tackle. And Gray gimpy as he gets up. That was Max Bergen made the play for the Cardinal.
Now here comes the stiff arm by Jonas Gray, right there to the face mask, and then the top of the helmet and underneath the helmet by Bergen.
It wasn't a horse collar so much as a...
But he might have had him underneath. Yeah. I can't tell. You could probably call Jonas Gray just as easily for face masking.
So Allen and Gray both over on the bench shaken up as Brian Kelly discusses things with the linesmen as the third quarter comes to a close. Back to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local station, Notre Dame football on NBC. Back at Notre Dame Stadium and ready to start the fourth quarter. Only a field goal in that third, kicked by Stanford on their first possession. It's 19-6 Cardinal. Notre Dame with a second down and 10. Sierra Wood in the backfield replacing the injured Gray. And the catch made by Floyd. Floyd goes upstairs to grab that one at the 40-yard line. First down, Notre Dame. That one covered 20 yards.
Despite pressure by Chase Thomas, who got free on a four-man, there's Floyd. Works up and inside the linebacker. Good job by Chris that time because there was heavy pressure. He stayed in, made the throw, and an acrobatic catch. Good hands by Floyd.
Christ hit as he delivers over the head of Riddick.
He's getting hit with three-man pressure. I mean, they're dropping 8, and Matt Masafilo, he's their 5 technique defensive end, which means the lined up across from the offensive tackle, getting a hit on him.
And a round of applause for Armando Allen, who returns to the field for the Irish. Chris with a draw play to Allen. Allen hit hard as he approaches the first down marker. It was Scove, and here's the guy that had to limp off the field, and they call his number, and he rips off a nice chunk of yardage. It'll be just about a foot or two short of the first down.
Love the call with three-man pressure. Draw and screen usually work because everybody's flying out of there trying to get to their zone spots.
So third down, but a rare 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and long. They've missed on their last 7 third down conversions, but all but one of them have been double digits.
They get under center.
Fake it to Allen. Christ off his back foot in traffic, throws it away.
3rd and very short. They go play action, and what they're looking for is a crossing route. They're looking for this right over here, but Scoffel walls it off and forces Chris to pull the ball down. There's the cross. He wants it. It's not there. Scoffel with the good hit, and he's got nothing because Batamosi's down the field on the tight end Rudolph.
So 19-6 on 4th down. It looks like they're going to go for it, but first, Notre Dame timeout. The Notre Dame offense held to only 2 field goals today by the Stanford defense. Facing a 4th down and a yard from their own 49-yard line. They're going to go for it, down 19-6. Brian Kelly taking a little extra time. In fact, looked like they were ready to run out on the field. He called them back. So we see what he has up his sleeve as Dane Christ and company onto the field. 4th down and 1.
Theo Riddick hung there a long time with his head coach Brian Kelly asking questions.
Jonas Gray hit in the backfield. Didn't even come close. Chase Thomas almost could have taken the handoff. He was back there so fast.
Point of attack, you have to account for Chase Thomas. Was a defensive end a year ago, a 3-4 backer now, one of the toughest players on this defense. Right here at the point of attack, you have to account for him. Down block, nobody touches him. I don't understand how you can make that call and not block Chase Thomas and Jimmy Harbaugh? Oh, yeah.
So big fourth down play by the Stanford defense. And the ball goes over. Chase Thomas made the hit. Nobody touched him.
Kyle Rudolph was across from him and blocked down. There had to be a bust in there because you can't not block the defensive end at the point of attack.
And once again, the Notre Dame defense is called back onto the field. And Andrew Luck's going to attack right away on first down. Being chased, unloaded it, avoiding the sack in the direction of Owusu.
Doesn't surprise me even a little bit that Jim Harbaugh is going for the killing dagger after a big defensive play. But I give Bob Diaco and this Notre Dame defense a ton of credit. I think their defense have played really hard today. Offense has just not been there for them.
Darius Fleming, the Notre Dame player, shaken up on the play. Well, it's been a hard-hitting game, as you would expect, and we were asking Jim Harbaugh the other day. He said, I don't like to make comparisons, but there's Bob Diaco, the defensive coordinator of the Irish. They've done their share of hitting today, especially Manti Te'o. And Jim Harbaugh was saying, I don't like to make comparisons, but yes, I did try to change the culture of the Stanford football program when I came to Palo Alto. We always thought of Stanford as a passing team, throw it around all over the field, sort of a finesse team. And Jim Harbaugh changed that totally. And how did he get to Stanford? Well, as Michigan starter, he won a couple of games here at Notre Dame Stadium for Bo Schembechler. 15 seasons in the NFL. Then started his coaching career as a head coach at the University of San Diego before being tabbed to come to Stanford. And he's had a lot of success with the Cardinal, especially after he got his players in and got his philosophy of hard-nosed football underway.
Trust me, Captain Comeback may have been a quarterback, but he's got a linebacker's mentality.
Fleming able to walk off the field. Brian Smith replacing him.
Two tight ends, two backs, called 22 personnel. They just want to pound it now.
Taylor, nowhere to go. Good defense by Notre Dame that time. A lot of blue shirts around the football. That was to Kerry Neal. Harrison Smith, the first two to get there.
Now this defense has played a lot of snaps. The challenge right now is to get off the field. It's third and long. You've got to get off the field. You can't worry about your offense and what they have or haven't been able to do the whole day. Take care of your business right now and trust that your offense will get it turned around.
Stanford with the time of possession edge, as you saw. And another third down and 8.
The tight end up here in the slot.
Andrew Luck throws on the run and finds Taylor, the running back. And he has another Stanford first down and another third down conversion, 23 yards.
That may be my favorite Andrew Luck play of the game. Taylor's in the backfield, of course, and Andrew Luck's going to go in the pocket, step up, keep his eyes down the field. It wasn't originally scheduled to go here. He beats McDonald. That's an excellent job by the quarterback, seeing his running back get inside the linebacker, keeping his eyes down the field while he scrambles, and puts it right on him. Great play by Andrew Luck.
Stanford has converted 9 of 13 on third down, while Notre Dame is 2 of 10. Taylor inside the 20, tackled from behind by Te'o. That's 15 tackles for Manti.
I really feel like I'm back in 1978 or 1980. This is what it used to look like years ago. I formation, tight ends all over the place, just trying to beat on each other. And that's the mentality that Harbaugh has brought to Stanford. And again, Notre Dame's defense, I think, has stood tall today, except on third down, where Stanford continues to make play. There's the big tackle. McGillicuddy out in the slot. Unbalanced formation, nobody backside.
Amonam, the tailback here behind Marisic, gets the call. Amonam inside the 15-yard line. Sean Chouinard getting some time for Notre Dame. Credit for that stop as we check in with Scooter.
Hey, Tom, well, as Stanford continues to pound the ball, you see Owen Marisek getting off the field here, heading to the sidelines. Amazing. As you guys know, he plays two ways. He's been on the field a lot in this game. Coaches check in with him, ask him if he's feeling okay. He says, yeah, and he heads right on out there.
I think he relishes it. He doesn't want to come out.
Isn't he? It's like high school again, Tom. He's getting to go both ways.
Taylor. There's another third down conversion by the Cardinal. Ticking them off like clockwork all afternoon.
You're right, Tom, and it's those tight ends that continue to get involved in the run game. 82 Fleener this time. The move guy right here. He's going to be the point of attack guy on 3rd and short. They're going to come in behind him, and they try to, there it is, good block on the edge. That's where you cut up inside the edge block by Fleener.
Notre Dame's defense trying to stiffen up one final time. They've been on the field a lot.
Look at this formation.
Yeah. Taylor sprinting, can't quite get to the end zone. Ridden down by Gray at the 2-yard line.
McGillicuddy, Jim McGillicuddy, Mac the Knife. Remember, he's a tackle wearing number 41, so he's eligible. He first lined up here, then they moved him over. Here's another tackle lined up at tight end. So they have 4 tackles in the game right there. Tom, they're just lining up and saying, you can't stop us.
And Taylor stopped at the line of scrimmage that time. They can make a first down, as you see, without scoring a touchdown. Manti Te'o is the final guy to get up off the ground, and he's now up to 18 tackles on the day.
Wow. Well, you kind of knew coming in that today was going to be a linebacker day. It's an old school linebacker day. I give Te'o a ton of credit. Stays in, making plays.
Close enough that they'll bring the chains out for a measurement. And it is short.
When they first got to the campus in Palo Alto, Jim Harbaugh and that staff, they inherited what you had talked about earlier, Tom, kind of a finesse type team. He has completely changed the culture. Sometimes 4 tackles in the game offensively, sometimes 4 tight ends. He's going to pound and pound on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and Jim Harbaugh relishes this type of game, and he's going to get after it right here on the goal line. Again, Mac the Knife, look where he is. Here, fullback behind him.
Taylor. Tackled by Blanton.
Short of the goal line, but probably a first down.
It is a first down, yes. So 1st and goal from the 1.
I mean, that's demoralizing. When you line up at defense and you see a 310-pound guy as a lead fullback, then a 250-pound guy as your regular fullback, and then the tailback, and then a tackle lined up at tight end, and you're going, are you kidding me? Here we go again. And you got to line up and be a man every play.
Give it to Marisek, the fullback. And did not get in.
Man.
Nice that they try to throw Owen a bone every now and then.
You're right.
Work he does.
And they do, too. They like giving him the ball on the dive down in short of the goal line and short of when you're 3rd or 4th and 1. Low guy wins. Good surge by Notre Dame, but if you're a Stanford fan, you look up at the clock as it continues to run, and it doesn't really bother you. You didn't get in the end zone that play.
Marisek again over the top this time for the touchdown.
Let's see if they go for 2 here.
Stanford pounding it down the field. And the team that scored 68 against Wake Forest last week scored 52 against Sacramento State and shut out UCLA 35-0. They've put up 25 here in the fourth quarter against Notre Dame, and they're going for 2 more. Officials timeout.
They kick a regular extra point, then obviously it's a 20-point differential. He wants to make it 21, 3 full touchdowns.
Marisic scored the touchdown and is telling all about it. Or maybe a tackle. You never know with him.
That's right. I don't understand the confusion here. Tight bunch here. Tight now. If this tight end comes in motion, it creates unbalanced again.
Luck rolling to his right. 2-point conversion is good. Caught by Zach Ertz. So Stanford scores and converts the 2-point conversion play with 2 ticks under 8 minutes left in the game. It's Stanford now 27 and Notre Dame 6 as Jim Harbaugh celebrates at Notre Dame Stadium. And the kickoff by Whitaker with Riddick and Wood, the deep men. Into the end zone. Sierra Wood brings it out only to the 16-yard line. The last time Stanford won at Notre Dame Stadium, 1992, when Bill Walsh was coach of the Cardinal. The Irish took a 16-0 lead late in the first half, but quarterback Steve Stenstrom led Stanford to 33 unanswered points. Stanford won the game 33-16, and it would be Notre Dame's only loss of the year. Bill Walsh and Lou Holtz, and that was the last time that Stanford won here at Notre Dame Stadium. Now Jim Harbaugh has them ahead 27-6, and they have never defeated Notre Dame in consecutive games ever in the history of the series. Of course, they beat them in the final game of the season last year at Stanford. Notre Dame's offense held to only 2 field goals today. First down at the 16-yard line for the Irish. Dane Christ again hit and picked off. Marisic, who just scored on the last possession as the fullback, picks this one off as a linebacker and scores a touchdown. How about that if that is not poetic justice for the two-way player to get a touchdown both ways today?
Look, his head coach jumps in his lap. That football's not going anywhere, folks. Boy, is he excited. This is him here. Masafio's going to get the big hit on the quarterback, forcing the errant throw. Masafio with the hit. The ball's thrown way behind Rudolph, undercutting the route. Marisic.
Owen Marisic with the interception for the touchdown. Whitaker's extra point. You gotta love a guy like that plays both ways, works so hard on and off the field. There's his biggest fan, Jim Harbaugh.
And I will tell you one thing about Jim. His players love to play for him. And he's a tough guy. He can be acerbic sometimes with the media. He can be tough with other coaches. But all that does is galvanize his troops to play for him.
What was it Andrew Luck said to us? It's a great family atmosphere at Stanford, created by the head coach, Jim Harbaugh.
And you know how families are. You know, if somebody gets on one of your guys,
that's right.
We're all in, you know, and that's their attitude.
And of course, Jim knows about family, doesn't he? As we've mentioned many times, from that great family of coaches. His dad, Jack, 41 years in the coaching business, including head coach at Western Kentucky for many years, and his brother John, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. His brother-in-law, Tom Crean, is the head basketball coach at Indiana University.
I don't think his sister was allowed to marry anybody that wasn't a coach. I don't even know how they got outside the football group, but I guess she liked Tom.
So Owen Marisic with 2 touchdowns in 13 seconds as Whitaker kicks off. Wood, he'll down it in the end zone this time.
2 touchdowns in 13 seconds. That's a heck of a stat. Wow.
Stanford continues their run as one of the highest scoring teams in college football. And again, they'll go to Oregon next week in what should be a great matchup. Then they take on USC at home. If they run the table on this stretch of games, look for them in the top 5. Don't you agree?
I agree 100%, especially with that Oregon game next week.
Christ, time to look and find Goodman that time. Goodman shakes the first tackler, makes a nice run after the catch. Out close to the 40-yard line where Batamosi chases him out of bounds. That's a 20-yard gain.
You know, people are going to think that Notre Dame got whipped today, and I think defensively they held in there. And things kind of blew up late. But it comes down to this Notre Dame offense still has to come of age. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator from Stanford, 24 years of NFL experience, brought some different blitz packages, and I think it was a learning experience today for Dane Christ.
He goes across the middle and sets up Riddick for the big hit.
Yeah, but Riddick jumped up and Howell's down.
And it went for 22 yards.
Tom, that's the throw I've been looking for him to make all day. You know how earlier I was saying he's not pulling the trigger. He's got something down the seam. And that time, because they're down and they got to throw the ball, he pulled the trigger. Okay, I get it. His guy took a hit. But great job by Theo Riddick catching the football in an exposed position. That's a tough guy right there, Tom.
And holding on to it. We spoke with him yesterday. Theo from New Jersey, and said he accepted the role of moving from running back to wide receiver, changed his number from 32, then he got 84, and his mom said, no, 84 is not you. His mom, Celeste, and said, take the next lowest number, and that was 6. I don't know where Chris was throwing that one. It was almost another interception. I guess Rudolph was closest to it, and Scoffel had a chance to intercept.
Yeah, he was I mean, Rudolph didn't even look because of the underneath coverage. Rudolph in the slot. Hagen underneath. Bergen underneath.
Well, they've taken Rudolph out of the game, haven't they? Still 1 catch for 1 yard. Kyle Rudolph, who's been such a potent weapon, leading the nation in receiving yards by a tight end.
They've been running defenders at and under him all day long.
Shovel pass to Allen. Was able to spin away from the first man, but nothing doing after that. That was Luders that he was able to spin away from early.
Yeah, Luders is a true freshman who they like. Took his red shirt off. He's played each of the games.
The Irish would like to get a little something going offensively here, so they have something to build on as they go on the road to Boston College next week. And they're going for Floyd in the end zone here. And the big man goes up to get it. It's inside the 5-yard line. That's what Michael Floyd can do for you. He outjumped Barry Browning for 37 yards.
And there's nothing wrong when you get singled on the outside and Michael Floyd against Barry Browning to throw the ball up and let your 6'3", 227-pound wideout go be a basketball player. High point it, bring it to the ground, first down.
Blitz comes from Stanford, and Chris able to get the touchdown to Riddick. Theo Riddick with his second career touchdown.
Good job. A-gap pressure up the middle. Chris hung in there despite the pressure. See Riddick out here. You know you've got that was Allen. Riddick's underneath. You know you've got man underneath. He's working on the sub back, Terrence Brown. But what was most impressive was Chris hanging in there. There's Tony Alford saying, wait a minute. Get back out there. We're going for 2. You know, Chris is not afraid of getting hit. I like that about him. Today was a learning experience, some different looks that he saw, but he's not afraid to stay in there and take a hit.
And Notre Dame asks for the ball to be moved to the left hash mark. As they go for 2. First points they've scored since early in the second quarter. Chris just heaves it up there, and Rudolph collides with the linebacker Bergen, Max Bergen. And that will be an easy call for the refs.
No question about that. Under pressure again. He kind of underthrew it because he could have thrown it to the corner of the end zone, but he's going to get hit by scaffold, so he
Pass
throws it out there.
On the defense, number 57. The penalty places the ball at the 1.5-yard line.
Throws off his back foot, consequently underthrown. Bergen has no idea where the football is, so Tom, that's about the easiest call we've seen all day right there, big boy.
Indeed. So now they'll try for the 2-point conversion from the 1.5-yard line.
My favorite part of that play was Bergen looking at the ref with his hands up like, are you kidding me?
Here's the Leprechaun with Allen ready to take the direct snap. Leprechaun, Allen keeps, cuts back, and he's in for the 2-point conversion. So the Irish drive down the field to get 8 points, but it's still a big Stanford lead, 34-14. Back at Notre Dame Stadium, where Stanford had scored 24 unanswered points before Notre Dame breaks through with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So 34-14 now with 6 minutes and 1 second on the clock. And Notre Dame, no doubt, to attempt an onside kick.
Stanford, of course, with the hands team in the ball game. Nothing but D-backs, receivers, tight ends, and people that supposedly have great hands.
Ruffer now steps away, and they go the other way with it. But he didn't cover 10 yards.
And I think they were offsides. And it was recovered by Stanford. So that's the trifecta, Tom.
Yep, Notre Dame was offside. Didn't go 10 yards, and Stephon Taylor fell on it.
Offside on the kicking team, number 22. That 5-yard penalty is added to the dead ball spot. First down.
And time now for Notre Dame Now, presented by Sprint, the Now Network. Well, Andrew Luck with 238 yards passing. First 2 interceptions of the season, but both on deflections. Third down conversion. This is the stat of the game as far as I'm concerned. 11 for 15 by Stanford. And Owen Marisic, 2 touchdowns, 1 on an interception, 1 on a rush in the period of 13 seconds. Taylor, 25-yard line. Robert Blanton up to make the hit on Stephon Taylor, who's had a productive afternoon, carried the ball a lot.
And I hate to be repetitive, but it really is the story of the game offensively for Stanford is how physical they are. That time they had McGillicuddy again at the point of attack. They brought around Phillips, the backside guard. They're running the power O, and they've just beat on Notre Dame all day. And, you know, Brian Kelly knows it. He's trying to get an edge to his team. Jim Harbaugh's had 4 years to get that edge.
Taylor again.
McGillicuddy again at the point of attack. You know, why do they keep changing his number, Tom? Huh?
Tried to fool us.
He was 74 one tape I watched. He was 80 another tape. They come out. They don't even have a 41 on their roster. And James McGillicuddy, the 6th-year player, 6'3", 307 pounds, comes out in a number today we don't even have on our roster. Are you kidding me?
Yesterday, when they had the walkthrough here at Notre Dame Stadium, they all switched numbers around. Everybody has just for fun. I think Andrew Luck was wearing a 60 number or something.
Who are they fooling, though? He's a tackle. He's 300 pounds.
Taylor. Steady diet of Taylor here. There's a late flag. As Manti Te'o has reached another career milestone. There's a look at McGillicuddy. Number 74, number 80, number 41 today.
Come on. On the defense, number 5. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Do people really think that anybody thinks he's a running back or a fullback? Look at him. His calves are bigger than all 4 of ours put together, Tom. That's not a skill position guy. That's a load.
6'3", 307.
Look at him.
From Worcester, Mass.
Look at him. You get the T. If he's not a tackle, I've never seen a tackle. Come on.
Teo was called for the face mask, half the distance penalty, puts the ball at the 8-yard line.
What'd you say Teo's numbers were? I mean, they're big on the tackles today. That's just huge for Manti Teo, hanging in there and playing like a man.
Taylor waltzes into the end zone.
I think you're going to get a hold there.
Flag is down, a couple of them, I think.
I thought it was Chase Beeler, the center.
Holding on the offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
It was Beeler. Now 4 minutes and 6 seconds left. Stanford will go to Eugene next week, and Notre Dame will travel to Chestnut Hill.
That game at Alston Stadium in Oregon, assuming Oregon gets by Arizona State this weekend, huge national implications outside of the Pac-10, obviously.
Taylor, try the other side, using his blocker, cuts up finally, and Slaughter puts the stop on him after a gain of 9. So here is the Stanford upcoming schedule: at Oregon, and then home to USC, and then they have a bye week. And if they run the table on these 3, Notre Dame at Notre Dame, breaking a 7-game losing streak at Notre Dame Stadium, then Oregon, then USC, then
there's what comes next, though, is Arizona. Scooter might be able to tell us about that one, right? After at Washington comes Arizona. So if they can run the table, they got 2 huge games followed by a bye, then Washington State, followed by Arizona.
Taylor stopped for a loss on that one. That was Brian Smith. And Notre Dame will travel to Boston College. The Eagles shut out by Virginia Tech today, but you got to go on the road, and with a 1-3 record. There's the at BC, then back home for Pitt and Western Michigan. So Coach Kelly said the players have bought into his system. He has a plan. He's sticking to it, and he thinks the players feel the same way. He wants them to develop a little more edge, but he doesn't see them giving up by any means.
And they'll be tested, but and coaches hate, Tom, when you look ahead too far. But we can, right? We can look ahead, and we can talk about the difference. We just showed the next 5 weeks, and to me, there are 5 winnable games there. Now, you have to do what you were just talking about, which is to buy into your coach's system, right? And everybody around them outside of the building is going to be talking about same old Notre Dame. Lost last year at the end of the season. You're losing now. You lost a couple tough games. Stanford comes in, beats you up. Forget all those people. Keep it in the building. Believe in the program. Believe in what Brian Kelly is trying to accomplish, because you can come out the other end of that tunnel with a winning season.
Of course, this is something totally new for Coach Kelly as well. In 2007, since he experienced even back-to-back losses, and here's 3 in a row now after the opening win against Purdue.
I've always been a big believer in not having knee-jerk reactions with any new coaching staff. Take your time. Let the guy implement his program, because everybody's program is a little different. Look at Jim Harbaugh. Struggled earlier at Stanford. Look what they have now. All of a sudden, the entire nation's going to be looking in at Oregon next week. 4 years later, give Brian Kelly some time.
In fact, Harbaugh, it did take him a while to get going, and his record at Stanford, 20-20. Coming into today's game. Taylor getting a steady diet here of Taylor, Mansfield, Texas native, sophomore.
Let's stay on the Harbaugh theme. I think it's a good model for Notre Dame. He comes in year 1 in 07, and they go 4-8. But they get a little silver lining because they beat USC that year. The kids believe in the program. They can see progress. They come out the next year from 4-8 to 5-7, and then last year 8-5 in a Sun Bowl berth against Oklahoma. So Stanford hung with him. He's getting it done. Year 4, they're where they want to be, and I think you can draw a parallel here because of the recruiting. You can only recruit a certain kid to these schools. Kids have to be able to get in. Give Brian Kelly and the staff some time.
Stanford has taken a timeout here, but there was some confusion. 4th down, and it'll be a field goal attempt by Nate Whitaker. 29 yards. He's already hit 4 today. Former walk-on at Notre Dame, transferred to Stanford, trying for his 5th field goal of the game. And from 29 yards, he boots it through. Well, it's been a nice homecoming for Nate Whitaker and for Conrad Rulin, the 2 Notre Dame transfers that took their act to the farm out in Palo Alto. And a hug for Whitaker from his head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Well, conventional wisdom had it that Harbaugh would get a serious look for the Michigan job if Coach Rodriguez didn't come through this season. But so far, Coach Rodriguez is the guy that's rolling as well.
And his quarterback, our buddy Shoelace, had a little injury today. And after he went down, both backup quarterbacks came in and played really well. And Forcier went 12 for 12.
When we thought a few weeks ago he might be leaving the team after he hadn't played, sitting on the bench with a towel over his head. There's Conrad Rulin, the Notre Dame transfer.
You know, everybody equates Jim Harbaugh with Michigan, and justifiably so, but they forget that he went to Palo Alto High School.
Yeah.
So he's got roots in both places.
And it looks like Stanford's going to break their 7-game losing streak. It looks like they're going to beat Notre Dame back-to-back games for the first time in history. And it looks like the frustration Notre Dame has experienced against ranked teams will continue. This will be the 11th straight loss to a ranked team by Notre Dame.
You hate to use terms like gut check and all the rest of that, but it's what I said a little bit earlier. Within the building, forget about everybody else. Believe in your staff and your teammates, and they'll be okay.
Robert Hughes gets the pass and races down the sideline. Big gain for Hughes on his first reception of the season.
And that's what I'm talking about. Starting left tackle, Zach Martin. The first team is still in the game. Zach Martin pulled out on the screen. Great cut block on the edge, and Hughes makes the cut correctly, and a big gain.
37 yards of gain.
Look at the big fellas get out there. 15 yards down the field. Zach Martin with the cut block on the safety. Correctly read by the running back Hughes.
Dane Christ, man wide open. It's Goodman. And Coach Kelly told us that look for Goodman more in the passing attack today, and he has been used more, his first receptions of the season. So the Irish trying for a late first down, aiming for the yellow line, brought to you by Xerox. With a minute 21 left.
That last throw highlighted Dane Christ's arm strength. Every bit as good, in my opinion, as Jimmy Clausen, which is a high-level arm. Christ
through the hands of a Stanford player and incomplete. Funny you should mention Jimmy Clausen, who gets his first start tomorrow for the Carolina Panthers. And Dane Christ said he'd been in touch with him, and they texted back and forth. Said Clausen was excited, been working extremely hard. And Dane also told us that, you know, being the Notre Dame quarterback is like having no life. I mean, you're just in the glare of the spotlight constantly. And he said having seen Jimmy Clausen go through that made it somewhat easier for him.
It's that old saying, be careful what you ask for. It may come true.
They toss to Hughes. And Robert Hughes inside the 25-yard line, hit by Debniak.
I am really looking forward to that NBC game Sunday night with Miami and the Jets. You want to talk about drama and all the stuff unfolding with Rex Ryan and Tony Dungy words earlier this year. You want to talk about a fight for that AFC East. That's going to be fun to watch.
Inside the final minute now, Manti Te'o, you saw a shot of him on the sideline, had a career day. the young linebacker of the Irish. No catch for Goodman. Shook a tackler and out of bounds. Teo with a career high 21 tackles today. 21 for Manti Teo.
Linebacker day, and Manti made a lot of plays.
There he is, number 5 from Hawaii. Highly touted recruit. Started as a freshman, and his career day today.
Yep.
In a losing cause, however.
And the defense was on the field too long. Defense made some plays except for third down. Offense couldn't ever get it going.
Chris fakes the handoff and rolls to his right. There's a flag down. Has a touchdown to Riddick if it holds up.
Now, Chris Stewart, who pulled out of the bootleg, will get called for holding. Very obvious call.
Holding on the offense, number 59. The 10-yard penalty, previous spot, first down.
And he didn't even need to hold because Chris had already made the emphatic move up inside. Josh Morrow was not going to get a piece of him, and our law degree doctor reached out and probably shouldn't have.
And no appeal of this case either,
No appeal. There's one final judge and arbitrator on this field. It's not Chris Stewart.
.24 seconds left. Stanford will go to 4-0. It's been a while since that's been the case. Notre Dame will fall to 1-3. And the boos as Stanford has called a timeout.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jim Harbaugh doesn't care what you think or I think or anybody else in the stadium thinks. If he thinks he's lined up incorrectly or the offense has an advantage, he's calling timeout, whether he's up 60-0 or down 60-0.
Now, is that a case of always teaching?
I think it is. A, it's always teaching, and B, he wants to show his players that every single play of every single game counts. Now, Pete Carroll took offense at that a couple years ago. There have been some other cases of it. The bottom line is Jim doesn't care. Jim's going to coach his way. Look at him, he's got the whistle. It's game day. He's got the whistle. I mean, that's an old school coach there in a new school body.
Big win for the Cardinal as they break that 7-game losing streak at Notre Dame Stadium and advance to 4-0. Then it'll be back to the farm and get to work for the trip to Eugene. Incomplete pass intended for Floyd.
I think that was his dad on the sideline that he was smiling with and grinning. I only saw a quick look at that, but I think that was Jack Harbaugh, right? Yep, that's who it is.
Well, there, Jack Harbaugh, his dad, a longtime coach. Jim was even an assistant to his dad, a volunteer assistant at Bowling Green at Western Kentucky University. Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Loved when his dad won the national Division I AA championship at the end of his career. John Harbaugh's got that thing going in Baltimore. That whole family, I'm telling you, they're tough guys and they can coach.
Set up the screen to Floyd. Stanford defense reacts in a hurry as we're approaching the 10-second mark. And the final seconds will tick away as Stanford has an historic win over Notre Dame. First time Stanford has beaten the Irish in back-to-back games. And a timeout taken with 5 seconds left by Notre Dame. A little taste of your own medicine.
Look at Jim. You know what? I was just looking all the way across the sideline at Jim Harbaugh. He was laughing. He gets it. There are a couple of poker players that are having, and I don't blame Brian Kelly. Jim's over there laughing, going, okay, he got me. And I don't blame Brian. Brian's trying to teach a lesson here, which is we're not going to be intimidated. Bottom line.
Well, the Irish offense, which came in hitting on pretty much all cylinders, especially in the passing game, ranked 8th in the FBS in passing offense, and facing a juggernaut of a Stanford defense that confused them at every turn.
Vic Fangio, again, their defensive coordinator, has been around a long time. 24 years in the NFL. He was a defensive coordinator in Carolina, Indy, Houston. Spent the last 4 years prior to this in Baltimore. Who's the head coach in Baltimore? Jim's brother John.
Again to the end zone for Goodman this time, and it's broken up, and that'll do the game. Jim Harbaugh with the celebration as he goes to 4-0 and beats Notre Dame for the first time in 7 tries. This was the 8th. They had lost 7 in a row here at Notre Dame Stadium. Let's go to Alex.
Well, Coach, what do you take away from this game?
Well, we got beat by a good team today. Thought we did some good things defensively, played hard. We're just, missed too many opportunities on the offensive side of the ball.
Your 4th game as the head coach here, your quarterback's 4th game, yet you know the expectations that this place has. What do you tell people about their patience?
I really don't care about that. We care about our football team and working to get them better every single day. And if you come to this job worrying about the expectations of everybody, then you can't get your job done. So we'll work with our players and our coaches to get better every day.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Well, as Coach Kelly said, we have a plan. We believe in the plan, and we're sticking to the plan. And they'll stick to it even though they are 1-3 and on the road to meet one of their big rivals, Boston College, next week. So 37-14 is the final score as Stanford with a convincing win at Notre Dame Stadium. Be sure to go to NBCSports.com right now for exclusive post-game coverage. And Sunday night is football night as the Jets take on the Dolphins in their heated rivalry. Football Night in America starts the live coverage tomorrow at 7 Eastern. Notre Dame Saturday continues in 2 weeks when the Irish return here to Notre Dame Stadium to battle the Pittsburgh Panthers. Big win for Stanford today. For Mike Mayock and Alex Flanagan, Tom Hammond saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium.